Oh, yeah. Oh, we're almost live. Are we live? Are we live? Have I taken everything off the screen that's inappropriate? Have I taken everything off the screen that's inappropriate? Almost took everything off the screen that's inappropriate. Screen? Am I speaking the right language? Huh? Yeah, you guys said my stream was late by an hour. Apparently, for all the spying that Google does, for all the information they have on every aspect of my life, they still think I live in Eastern time zone. I just find that funny. It's like all the spying that they do, and this piece of crap thinks that I'm on Eastern time. Don't know what to tell you, man. Oh, my God. It's just, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed of yourself, Sergey Brin. You should be able to spy better than that. You should be able to spy better than that. How is everybody doing tonight? How is everybody? How are you? It's been a while. Got to catch up a little bit. I have to catch up a little bit. There's a couple of things that we're going to go over before we get started with tonight's stream. Admittedly, I should have sorted out all my windows a little earlier, but such is life, Forgot to get everything sorted out before starting. You guys should be used to that if you watch my channel. So a few things to get into before we start tonight's stream. Just get it on the screen here. One second. There's this little window that I can't get. Aha. Downstream key that keeps showing up in OBS. It drives me nuts. Just got to get this thing to go away. So, okay. Almost there, I promise. Almost there. 1 second. I know. Okay. I always have something on the screen that I shouldn't. Here we go. All right, so before we begin tonight's stream, just a quick note here. We're going to have a few more grants, applicants, recipients showing up for an interview here shortly. I'm going to be announcing 2 new grantees that got grants from Futo, the new company that I work for. This is an excellent question, Lyman, and I'm going to answer it right after I finish. So over here, you can see some interviews that I've done with some grantee recipients. So this is the founder of Freenet, Ian Clark. We have Calyx Institute over here with Nick Merrill. GrapheneOS has gotten a grant. There's 2 more grants that I'm going to be doing interviews of over the next few weeks and announcing the TLDR of that. If you have a project, hardware or software that restores freedom and sovereignty to the end user of their technology, do give us an email, grants@futo.org. They gave my nonprofit a substantial amount of money several years ago, and I actually read all these emails. So I may just have a little something to do with whether or not your grant gets considered. So again, we have a bunch of different ones that I'm going to be adding to this page. I was grant number 1 back in the day for Repair Preservation Group in 2020. Again, we got a GrapheneOS, CalyxOS, Freenet with Ian Clark, and we've got 2 others that I'm excited to be doing interviews with this week. So now, with that being, and the email is down below. If you have to ask how to email, then you've failed step 1. So yes, it is. I don't know what to say. You shoot your shot. So, some will get a yes, some will get a no. But I am really excited to discuss the next 2 grantees because they work on really, really cool projects, and I hope to have interviews with them up over the next week. I don't say who they are until everything's finished and finalized. So let's get into the stream. So question number 1, how do you handle employees asking for raises, and how would you ask for a raise after not being a shit employee? So the way that I would ask for a raise is like this. I would say, what is it that I could do to be more valuable to this particular company? I'd like to see you achieve your mission. Like, okay, actually, you know what? Here's what I would do. Where do you think we're falling short as a business? And how can I be more valuable to you and more valuable to this company? I'd like to be more valuable to this company. I'd like to bring more money and assets to this company. What can I do? and also work into that you'd like to get paid more. Rather than saying, I want more money, ask, how can I provide you more value? And at the end of the day, maybe there's something you're doing that's not providing value, or maybe you actually are providing you value and your boss is just kind of being a piece of shit. I haven't been going to Buc-ee's specifically because I keep getting spammed with it. So what I've been doing is just to protest the fact that I keep getting Buc-ee's spam. I have not been to it. For the sole reason that I keep getting spammed with Buc-ee's, I have not gone to Buc-ee's. So it's kind of like a personal protest at this point. So like for instance, I've had employees where I took them aside and said, just so you know, you deserve a raise. The reason you haven't gotten a raise is because your boss is a piece of shit. So, I used to be in a place that was under $5,000 in rent. Now I'm in a place that's over $13,000 in rent, and I do not have more business now than I did then. That was my fault. That's not your fault. You just so happen to work for an idiot. As a result of working for an idiot, instead of you getting this amount of raises, here's where I would have given you a raise here and here and here and here. You haven't gotten one. This is not, I want you to understand, this does not reflect on you as an employee. This doesn't mean that you're bad at your job. It doesn't mean I think you do a half-assed job. It doesn't mean I don't think you deserve it or that you haven't earned it. And if you find somebody else that's willing to pay you more money, I will happily endorse you. I will give you a good referral. I'll give you a good reference. I just want you to know it's not you, it's me. And for the most part, I haven't been asked for a raise ever until 2021. 2020. And that honestly kind of fucked me up inside because I wanted to keep that streak of never being asked for a raise, because usually I beat my own employees or my own staff to giving them raises. It was only after I moved to a place that was massively more expensive, after putting over $100,000 into moving there, right before the entire economy fell off a cliff, that I was in less of a position to be able to do that. And I really am hoping with this move here, shrinking my business. Again, I'm only going to be taking about 50% of my current staff, massively reducing the amount of rent that I pay, reducing the amount of people that I have, that I'll be able to go back to doing that again. So the way I would ask for a raise is I would say, how could I provide more value to this business? I get it. I'm not saying that I'm unhappy. I signed up to get paid $25 an hour or $50 or $15, whatever the fuck it is. I signed up to make $25 an hour. I'm not complaining. I appreciate the job. I want to know, how can I be more valuable to this business? What is it that I could do that would cause you to say, you know what, you're worth 28 or 30 or 40 or 50? Because again, at that point, you're not just asking for something. It's not just a gimme. It's what can I do to make things better? And then there's actually a collaborative approach that you have with the employer, and it also puts you in a place with them, in my opinion, where you're seen as one of the more valuable ones. It's not like you're just there for the money. You actually want to figure out, how can I make what they're doing better? So if somebody came to me with that approach, they would immediately be the first person that I'd want to go to if I had an expansion plan or I had a new idea or a new position or anything like that, because it shows me that they're not looking to just be a cog. They actually want to do something and grow with it, and so on and so forth. So that's what I would do. But also realize a lot of the time that it's not you. And this is something that you should do if you're a manager. If you're in a fucked up situation because you did something stupid the way I did, again, just take somebody aside and say, just so you know, you should be getting more money. Here's why I really appreciate what you do. Here's what you do that's good. And here's why I'm not able to give you more right now. If you are able to find somebody who is able to pay you what it is that you are actually worth, I will fully support you quitting with no notice and going over there, and I will happily give you a positive reference to make the transition smoother. But here's why right now you are where you are. I just want you to know, it's not because you're bad, it's not because we don't appreciate you, it's because we fucked up. So it's a two-way street. I think managers should have discussions with employees if they're not able to give them raises as to why. And also it should be in the other direction. It should be, oh, by the way, I've actually had this discussion before with somebody. I said, listen, you are way too talented to be making X dollars an hour. You have to understand that you show up late to work by 30 minutes to an hour every single day, and it sends the message to everybody else that that's okay. And that's the kind of stuff becomes cancerous, because then everybody does it. One person does it, then 3 people do it, then 10 people do it. And then before you know it, hey, the store doesn't open at 12, it opens at 1. And you have 5 new 1-star reviews from people that were waiting outside for a half hour and nobody was there to actually open. So I want to give you more money. Here's the thing that I need you to do so that I do not feel like a simp giving you more money. I will, and I've done this before, I've said, I will give you $1,000 as a bonus if you come into work on time 5 days in a row. So if you're supposed to be here at 12 and you show up at 12 5 days in a row, I will give you $1,000, no strings attached. And then after that, I will give you a raise. That's what I need you to do. I've done that before. And sadly, they actually fucked it up and didn't do it. But so it really is a two-way street. You should show that you want to provide value to the employer. The employer should be able to tell you, what it is you could be doing better, but more importantly, if you're doing everything you're supposed to, that they appreciate you and why it is you're not able to make more money, so that you can know if you should be going somewhere else. Like if one of my employees says, this is not good enough, it's not my fault that you are a shitty business owner and you made a stupid decision that resulted in me not being able to make as much as I could be making, that's fine. That's absolutely fair. Like that, but I think that there should be an open line of communication when it comes to that stuff. But that's just me. I'll read your comments. The mic is looking good. Thank you. This is a blueberry. I've always loved this microphone. My friend Jake had one of these in his studio back in 2011. I think we went 50-50 on it back in the day. It's a really nice microphone. It's just that, it's expensive. So I always wait with my microphones. I never pay full price for this shit. I always wait to find something that's kind of screwed up in some way. And this one was advertised as having clicks and pops, and I figured out what it is. What it was is that every time you tapped it, you would get a bunch of clicking and popping because somebody didn't screw this in properly, and there was something that was hitting the diaphragm on the inside. So I opened it up. It looked like they had tried to open it up with a letter opener or something instead of a fine flathead screwdriver. So I just opened it up. I put everything where I thought it was supposed to be, and I put it back on. And now when I tap it, it doesn't click and pop anymore. So for about $200, I have a blueberry microphone, which is pretty fucking cool because my other microphone was starting to fail. How are you liking nightlife in Texas? Also, anything that surprised you or particularly liked moving? P.S. Used to turn down raises from old boss, liked/respected. He raised it anyway. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I had one employee that actually refused to allow me to pay for his parking. Like I've been trying to get him to allow me to pay for his parking for a year. It's one of the signs I think you have a decent back and forth relationship. How you like it? So nightlife, I'm too old for a lot of the nightlife shit. I don't really partake in much of it. It's not for me. My idea of an enjoyable evening is, I don't know, like going to dinner with a quiet dinner with a couple of friends, or just listening to music in the comfort of a beautiful recliner. So I don't know, I'm a little too old for that stuff. It is weird. People are less used to streaming here, so I stream a lot of stuff in my live random channel. I was walking around the city, and I was walking around 6th Street and showing everybody what all the bars look like, and there's this one woman that screams, "Creep, creep, what are you doing, creep?" Something like that, and it's like, ma'am, I'm streaming. Like, I've walked around New York City with my camera for years, and nobody ever did that. And like in Austin, I'm just walking down the street with my camera, and I'm talking into my phone, and I get screamed at. So like, I don't know if maybe if people are less aware of streaming culture here, or that's a thing that people do, is walk around the street with a camera and talk into it. Like, I don't know, maybe I just look like a creep. Who knows? What preamp are you using, or just interface pre's? Focusrite, Scarlett, whatever the fuck. I'm not going crazy with it. I've never been able to hear the difference. Like, the only difference that I've heard is shitty Mackie mixer from the 90s to Neve 31102. Like that, and even then, in an ABX test, that's really, 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 really hard to tell the difference. But I just don't care. This is good enough. I'm not jerking myself off with different preamps. It's a man screams in chair YouTube channel, How's your transition from Discord to Element? Haven't started it yet. We're going to be making NZK Shatria do that. He has been tasked with that. He was very kind to offer to do that for free. Let's see. So let me scroll up. You're not texting until you go to Buc-ee's. Again, it got spammed in my chat so much that I've gone out of my way to never walk into a Buc-ee's just on protest, general protest. Have you heard of Rob Braxman? Only 80 times a day. Yep, you guys spam my chat with it all the time. Let's see. Will Tor I2P receive a grant? Probably not. I don't make these up. What do you think of quiet quitting? It's kind of lame. I think it's just a waste of people's lives. Like, if you have a job if you believe that you're not appreciated and you don't like what you do and you don't like the environment, like, just find something else. Like, there's a lot of people out there hiring right now. Like, just find something else. And like, I get what you're saying. It's not that easy. Everybody else, life's not fucking easy, bro. Like, I don't know what to say. My grandma got on she sold her last goat so that she'd have just enough money to get a ticket on a boat to go from here to Sheepshead Bay in Brooklyn, where she lived in a basement with 6 other families for several years, where she worked 12 hours a day at one of these, like, it was one of these, what was it? So you're sewing something. It's some fucking, I forget what you call it. It's on the tip of my tongue, but she was sewing all day long in sewing machines. Like, she would wake up at 7 in the morning, get there at 8, be there until 9 or 11 at night, and then go home. And she did that for years just so that she could afford to be able to rent an apartment. Like, I don't know. I mean, it's like, I get what people are saying when they say it's not that easy, life's not that easy, it's not that easy, it's not that simple. It's like, I think about that, but then I just think about the shit that people in my family did to just be able to get here, and it's like, I don't know. I feel like I feel like soft quitting is people wasting their lives. Like, I'm not even saying that they're wrong, that their boss treats them like shit, that their job has no purpose, that their company sucks, blah, 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 blah. It's just that, like, you're wasting your life. Like, your life is very finite. You have a very short amount of time here when you look at the amount of time that has existed in the universe and you look at the average human lifespan. And to spend it at some place where you're doing something like, quote, quiet quitting is just, like, you're just fucking wasting your life. Like, I'm not even saying that it's because you're doing harm to your employer. Fuck your employer. Like, your life matters more than that. Find something that doesn't absolutely suck. Find something that doesn't drain the life out of you. Or even if it's something you don't like doing, find something that you don't like doing, but where at least the outcome of it is kind of cool. Like, I don't like reballing SMCs. Reballing SMCs sucks. Like, fucking picking little pieces of glass out of a MacBook Air screen bezel area, like, that shit sucks. It's not fun. Very little about my job is actually fun. The outcome is awesome. Knowing every single time I did that, I fucked Apple out of some, bullshit $1,200 tier 4 repair. Gives me a happy little kick. May I have a raise? Hattie, moderators are unpaid. When will your store employees be joining you in Texas? That is in the FAQ. Also, are you guys still completing online orders at this time? We are still compelting them. We are pelting our customers, yes, and we are completing our orders as well. Did you look at the project whose info I shared with you? Nope. That is question... Actually, you know what? We have that in the FAQ. Let me see. Which question? Okay. That's a semi-related question in the FAQ. So in the FAQ... I have an FAQ in the description, and that is, okay, it's semi-related to question 27, but I can't do that. I'm sorry. It's semi-related to question 27, Sherlock. I don't know. You've shared a bunch of projects with me. I don't know which one you're referring to, and I can't stop the stream to figure it out. What games are you currently playing? The Game of Life. Everclear. Everclear is fucked up. I've used the Everclear is fucked up. Being on time is the minimum employee should be doing. It depends on the type of job you have, Hannah. Like, if you're a programmer and you sit in your office all day, that's different. In a retail store, it really matters. Like, there's a lot of jobs where being perfectly on time does not fucking matter at all. So, like, you being a stickler over somebody being 5 or 10 minutes late is just you being on a power trip and being a dick. A retail store, like, that shit matters. If somebody shows up, if your hours are 12 to 8 and somebody shows up at 12, and you have to say, I'm sorry, I have to wait 30 minutes because the person that handles that is not here, right? Like, that shit sucks. Especially if that's the person that's opening the store. Like, that shit is really annoying. Glad I don't have to work for anyone ever again. Love being self-employed. Are you black-pilled about right to repair now? I've been black-pilled about right to repair from the very beginning. It doesn't mean that I roll over. I don't really roll over. What I'm black-pilled on is the idea. What I'm completely black-pilled on is the idea that there's a purpose to me doing another video on the newest model iPhone or MacBook. That I'm 100% black-pilled on. Like, my channel is probably one of the best-known channels for repair of Apple products in the world, and still nobody gives a fuck about any of this stuff. So, like, why do I care? I am black-pilled and right to repair on the idea of it passing in the near future, or of companies actually taking this stuff into account when designing their products and being more consumer-friendly. But I still push for it. What I've stopped bothering with altogether is the iPhone 38 has come out, and they're pairing the this to the that, and it doesn't work without the tool, because, like, I've done that. I did that already. I did that for, like, what, the 8, 10, 11, 12, like, nobody fucking cares. So, like, that I'm black-pilled on. Let's see. What happened to personal responsibility? I don't know. I love not being self-employed, much less responsibility, and I could leave work at work every day, less stress. How do you determine good or bad in life? That's way too general. Example, food on the table is good, but if it's only bread, is it? I don't understand that. Like, it depends. Do you like bread or do you not like bread? I'm trending more keto-ish, so I don't think that bread is even good. Your computer does what you need. Your computer is also obsolete. 12 years old, good. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Like, if your computer does what you need, then it's fine. Like, what do you see? This is one of those questions. It's kind of like the autism spectrum questions or the Asperger's spectrum questions that you get asked by a psychiatrist. The reason you can't answer those directly is there's so many sub questions of it. So, like, for instance, bread is fine if you're not if you don't have a gluten allergy. I guess bread is kind of, but honestly, I think bread would suck for dinner. Bread should be a side. Like, bread for dinner by itself is kind of shit. Very little nutritional value. So I'd say that's a negative. A computer that does what you need is fine. There's no bad to that. But again, like, that's your personal opinion. I don't know how to answer questions like that are very, very open-ended. Like, my computer does what I need, and it's very fast at it. So why would that make you a creep anyway? I don't know. Let's see. My dog is nervous walking at night. First Amendment auditors have soured many in the South. He moved to Austin. There are a lot of entitled rich kids there. I have work in Austin, but I live above Austin because I want peace and quiet. Louis, why are you so normal yet somehow considered crazy? I don't know. Who considers me crazy? Tell the hecklers you are talking to your grandma. Maybe. I'm a college kid trying to break into pharma. Should contract positions for us freshies be a priority or full employment for finding real career trajectories? I don't know shit about pharma. So, yeah, I worked as a health insurance salesman for 45 minutes before I quit in 2008. So, sorry, you're asking the wrong dude. A lot of audiophile stuff is mumbo jumbo. Yeah, like, I like the idea. Again, I have a lot of acoustic panels here. I don't have as many as I'd like because I don't want to hang anything to the wall and permanently attach it there until I know that I'm buying this place. Because then I have to deal with, like, you know, them saying, oh, you made marks on the wall, we're taking it out of your deposit and shit like that. So I literally just put my panels one on top of the other. I would put many more here to get rid of a lot of the early reflections if it was a place that I owned or that I was renting for a really long period of time. But yeah, like, my speaker cables cost me like $40 or $50. And that was just like, you know, I'm not buying $1,000 speaker cables. And that's including the 1/4 inch to XLRs for line level and the speaker cable. Like, I have nice speakers. I have Vandersteen 3A signatures. They're really nice speakers, but I would use lamp cord on them for speaker wire. You know, good speakers, decent, you know, competent amplification, competent DAC and preamp. By competent, I mean, I'm not saying thousands of dollars. Like, literally, if it's competently designed, I'm cool with it. And acoustic panels, and you're good. Like, the room and the speakers are the most important. Everything else just needs to be competent. Was finding a place in Texas as difficult of a search as in New York City? Not really. You should rename the channel to Man Screams in Chair. Perhaps. What do you think about using a personal server to self-host your own stuff instead of using someone like Google who may just shut you off in a whim? It's a decent idea. It's just it's really difficult to get something that's going to be as good as something like Google Photos or Google Drive. Like, I've fucked around with trying a Nextcloud server, but oh my God, there's so much that's wrong with that shit. Like, even when you follow their configuration guides, even when you follow all of their performance tweaking guides and do everything to the T that they suggest and run it on a machine with a quad-core processor, an SSD, 32 gigs of RAM, it's so slow and shitty compared to the other solutions. But again, it's free and open source, so... You know, all tech has its issues. All tech has its issues. But yeah, I mean, like, you can try it. It's just there's a lot of, like, I don't use Google Keep anymore. I use that. I've used my own hosted email for a long time, but I have a Gmail. It's just I barely use it for anything, and I'm moving as much over as possible. I don't use Google for Calendar. I don't use them for contacts. I don't use them for Keep or Notes. Like, I've gotten rid of them for a lot of different shit. But you do notice a significant decline in quality. The fact that Google offers these services for free means there just isn't that level of excitement to redevelop them when you're competing with Google, who's offering it for free. Like, if Google's going to give it to you for free, how much money is somebody going to make for trying to make it for you? But yeah, I've been doing it on principle. Do you know about Julian Assange? Somewhat. I know, Hannah. So what I do is I have a list of bookmarks. So you can open a folder of bookmarks and it'll open each of them in a new tab. And there's a bunch of things that I look for every single day. So I'll look for, let's say, a Sioux Research, sealed subwoofer. I will look for Teal CS 3.7 speakers that are in good condition on eBay and AudioGone. I will look for, let's say, a Blueberry microphone. There are a couple of things that I look for on a regular basis. And if I see it pop up at a good price, I just buy it. But every morning I check. Every morning I just open my little bookmarks list and my bookmarks folder of stuff I want to get, like, you know, vintage audio equipment or stuff that I think is really cool. And I check it every morning. And if I see an amazing deal, I jump on it. That's how I found my Majesty 3A signatures. Like, I checked that shit every day for 2 or 3 years. And then at one point I said, wait, Vandersteen 3A signatures for $1,100? What? Open box? And then I saw the condition and I'm like, holy shit. That shit, these go for like $5,500 now. I got them for about $1,100. They're awesome. But yeah, I do that. Erica moved to Texas as well, says Dustin. That is a $200 super chat. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. We're going to make that a $500 super chat. That's a $500 super chat. Let's see. You have a college degree? No. Quiet quitting is literally just doing your job description. That's not what I've heard. It seems, let's see. Well, let's look up the definition. Because I was listening to the definition as like other people told it to me. Mm-hmm. Let's see. Are you any plans of coming up to El Paso? I have no plans of coming to El Paso anytime soon. Okay, what is this? Quiet quitting is an application of work to rule, in which employees work within defined hours and engage solely in activities within those hours. Despite the name, the philosophy of quiet quitting is not necessarily connected to quitting a job outright, but rather doing precisely what the job requires. Proponents of quiet quitting also refer to it as acting your wage. Okay, this is slightly different than what I've had than the way it's been explained to me prior. The term quiet quitting was initially coined at Texas A&M Economic Symposium, blah, blah, blah. The term can be used by other figures, including Nick Adams and Thomas Sowell. Citation needed. Okay, this is a lazy-ass article. Although the term quiet quitting was coined then... I can't read the whole thing. You need to react to Casey Neistat's return to New York City. No, I really just don't care. I don't care. Honestly, like, I don't find Casey Neistat interesting. Like, again, like, if you do, that's fine. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't understand why people find me interesting. Like, I'm a dude that yells into a camera, raging from a chair. I don't understand why anybody finds this fucking channel interesting. But I don't really find Casey Neistat interesting. And like, when I do videos, I tend to do videos about things that like I actually care about, you know? And like, so if it just so happens to get a bunch of views, great. If it doesn't get a bunch of views, I don't really... It's about stuff that I give a shit about at that point in time. Or things that my audience has an outsized interest in if I find it interesting. But I don't know. I just don't find Casey Neistat that interesting or exciting. The term quiet quitting has different shades of meaning depending on the source. While individual contributors might think in terms of otherwise engaged workers setting reasonable boundaries, their employers may see them as slackers who are willfully underperforming. Okay, so it depends on whose perspective it is. Another perspective differentiates quiet quitting from work to rule, positing that the primary objective of quiet quitting is not to disrupt the workplace, but rather avoid occupational burnout and to pay more attention to one's mental health and personal well-being. The opposite of quiet quitting is quiet firing, in which an employer deliberately only offers a minimum wage and benefits and denies any advancements in the hope that an unwanted employee will quit. Just as the term quiet quitting was created to represent workers deliberately limiting the scope of their contributions to the company, the related term quiet firing has also come into usage to mean employers reducing the scope of workers' responsibility to encourage them to quit voluntarily. Huh. Hello, old friend. Can you change the battery in the AirTag I hid in your wallet? Go away, Sonny. I actually still have an AirTag that's in a mattress that I threw away here. I wonder if Orhan could see where that went. I think he has the account for the AirTag. Hello, Sonny. Miss you, Sonny. Miss you, Sonny from Texas. I imagine the degree to which people are quiet quit or quiet fired really depends on the employee or the boss. Like, I've met a lot of people that just show up to work and do the absolute bare minimum to not get fired. And you can just kind of tell when somebody's doing the bare minimum to not get fired. This is a rant that I had with Duke. Duke was my mentor on Board Repair. I have 2 or 3 videos with him. And he had said, like, 99% of the world sucks at their job. There's like 1% of the world that is responsible for everything running, and everybody else is just kind of along for the ride. And I don't think he's wrong. I don't know. I can't imagine working at a place where I don't know. I think I've been lucky. Like, I haven't been surrounded with people that do that to much extent. And it also, it's so hard to get into this because there are certain jobs where like just doing your basic responsibility. Like let's say you're hired to do a certain thing, right? I don't know, let's just come up with a hypothetical example. Let's hypothetically say you work at a repair shop in an industry where you constantly have to learn how to do something new because the thing that you used to, the service you were able to offer yesterday and make money off of, Apple kind of fucked you over, so you can't, so you got to learn how to do something new. I don't know, so let's say that you got hired to do screen repair. Like that's all you do. Your job is you do screen repair. And Apple completely destroys the supply chain and your ability to actually make any money replacing screens on laptop computers. So you don't do that anymore. Well, again, if you're the quiet quitting type, maybe you literally just focus on that. That's all you focus on. That was what you were hired for. That's what you do. Employee B sees the way things are going and says, maybe I should learn how to do some other things at this company. And they, I don't know, spend an extra hour at work every day, wind up clocking in, getting overtime for it, and learning how to do something like hard drive data recovery, learning how to do SSD data recovery, learning how to do micro SD card data recovery. And then when the old job is no longer available, they're not the ones that get laid off because there's no money for them. They're the ones that are getting an offer of having their parking paid for, a bonus, and a giant raise upon moving to a new location that the person that only does the screens is not getting. Yeah, just hypothetical. Just hypothetical. Like, I don't think that I don't know. If you work at I know this is going to come off shitty. I don't really care. If you work at a Casey's entire message is New York City is my muse and he needs to be back in New York City. I don't really care. Listen, that's the thing. If you like New York City, that's on you. I don't like hate. This is the same shit that people would do to me with Apple. Like they would say, they think that I hate people that use Apple products. I don't. I hate the way Apple treats their users. If you choose to use an iPhone, fine. If you choose to use a MacBook, fine. That's great. Listen, I don't hate you. I don't dislike you. I don't think less of you because you're able. Again, if you have a specific workflow that you have, if you have a specific workflow and that workflow is best served by using a MacBook or an iPhone, I'm not going to argue with you. Do what works for you. Who cares what I think? What I dislike is how Apple treats the user. Now, if New York City is your muse, by all means, go to New York City, live there. That's fine. I'm not going to argue with you. Like again, this is like me arguing with you over who you should marry. I could argue with you until you're blue in the face. If you're gay and you like men and I'm telling you, no, you should marry, I don't know, you should marry a woman. Like, who gives a fuck about my personal preferences? My personal preferences matter to me. They don't matter to you. So if you, like, when I talk about New York City, what aggravates me are the way the city is managed and the way the city treats people. But I'm not mad at the specific individual that says, I want to live here. That's not what makes me mad. What makes me mad is how the city treats its residents. What makes me mad is how the realtors there treat the people that actually want to rent commercial space. But like, yeah, I don't care. Like if Casey Neistat likes New York City, then like, fine. What do you think is the future? LTST, I don't know what the fuck that means. Is that like long play and slow play on a VCR? I don't know what LTST is. I really have no clue what that is. Of Apple as a company and a brand. What do you think of the future of Apple as a brand? How would you address some of the potential shortcomings in order to improve the brand beyond schematics, access to chips, etc.? I don't know what the future. I don't know what their future as a brand is. I really have no idea what LT and ST means. I'm just going to assume that's like long play and slow play on a VCR. And back in the day, you had slow play, long play, and super long play, and you could set that, and you would have you could get 6 hours, 4 hours, or 2 hours. If you set it to 2 hours, you have much better picture quality. If you set it to super long play, which is 6 hours, you get really shitty picture quality. Yeah, I don't know what the LTST thing is. That completely went over my head, as most acronyms do. I don't know what I think of Apple's brand going forward. Like, I don't know. I think as more information comes out on the degree to which Google devices are constantly spying on you, there really is an opportunity there. But I mean, Apple's doing a lot of it too. They're just not selling it. I also kind of wonder, as interest rates continue to go up, are people really going to? There's not a lot of innovation with the newest devices anymore. There's not a lot, I guess there's this new feature where it tries to detect if you're in a car accident and automatically call 911 and stuff, but there's just not a lot that's compelling to get the newest device. And I think at some point people are going to realize that. Okay, yeah, what was that with the New York City thing? Yeah, I just don't care if Casey Neistat likes New York City. I don't. It doesn't work for me. New York City worked for where I was 13 years ago. The me of 13 years ago would say, it makes no sense for me to be somewhere else. I can't be someplace where I have a mail-in business because nobody knows who I am. I have no money to start that. I don't even have money for a car. I need to be able to, get around for $80 a month. I need to be able to get around a city of 8 million people for only $80 a month in transportation because I'm broke. Like, New York City really made sense for where I was 15 years ago. It does not make sense for where I am now or even where I was 5 years ago. But I don't know why you're surprised that I don't care about Casey Neistat. Like it's his preference. I don't care about his preference. What I care about is the way New York City treats its residents. I care about the way New York City treats its businesses. Yeah, subpar picture, lousy picture, and super lousy picture. But in all seriousness, don't use acronyms in my chat. Like, if you use an acronym, it's a waste. It's a waste because I'm not going to understand what it means, and 99% of the time. But I actually have a no acronym rule on the live channel, but I have to officially cement that for this channel. It's people's preferences. I don't really care what their preferences are. Like, you do you. Like, why should you care what my preference is? I advocate for them to treat businesses better. I advocate for the real estate industry to be less corrupt, but I don't care if you want to live there. Want to say thanks for the data repair videos. Now I completely understand why it's ill-advised to do data recovery as a layman, but too stubborn to pay over $2K. Good learning experience. There's nothing wrong with trying to learn all this shit. Like, I genuinely want anybody who wants to get into data recovery, by all means, take apart drives, mess with it, view content online. The only thing is, do it with a donor. Do it with something that doesn't matter. Don't do it with your own stuff if you care about it. And for fuck's sake, don't do it with the customer stuff. Learn on stuff that doesn't matter. Singapore's F1 race was full of chaos. Every car was behaving like it was on an ice skating rink. Never mind the fact that there was a monsoon. I don't know what that has anything to do with any of this. Have you told the New York City landlord that you're leaving yet? Yes. Soon you'll find that the Texas is all 4 seasons in a week. I'll take it. Love that you're talking about GrapheneOS. Love the OS. I have GrapheneOS right here. Thumbs up, GrapheneOS. My ex was cavalier about times like that and was constantly late, very disrespectful. I quit quick because there's no point in putting any more effort in my jobs in terms of advancement. It's easy work at my level. I don't look for other jobs because I hate interviewing. I don't know. I just can't imagine doing anything where I just want to put in the absolute and utter bare minimum. I can't imagine wanting to do it long term, even if I was getting paid my salary for it. Anything worth doing is worth doing well. I get there are companies that treat people like shit and try to burn you out and don't appreciate you. Fucking leave. Everybody should leave those shithole companies. If enough people leave, they'll have to stop treating people like complete and utter shit. You may have gotten this question a million times. Where can I buy the chair you're sitting on? Somewhere on Amazon. I used to have an affiliate link to this. But let's see. Do I actually have the affiliate link to this recliner? Let's see. Might as well make some money off of you. Might as well be an evil capitalist fuck and make some money off of you. Do you strive for impartiality between alt tech and big tech with commentary, or is it impossible because of association with Futo? I don't know what you mean by impartiality. I don't know how to be impartial. I don't think that's even possible. My channel has been a giant middle finger to Apple, Google, and all these companies long before I worked for Futo. That train fucking left the station a long time ago, bro. That's funny. That's funny. My entire brand has been based on giving a giant middle finger to every one of these companies. The idea that my job is now going to give me a bias that didn't exist before. No. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I just. Yeah, I don't know how to. Yeah, I don't know how to. I'm sorry, I don't know how to answer that with a straight face. Am I partial against large tech companies? I think that I was partial against large tech companies long before I ever knew Aaron Wolf. Okay, chair. Here we go. The chair. Bada bing. Have you removed sugar from your diet? Hello, Ty. How are you? Pleasure to see you, sir. I have not removed it, but I've removed 99% of it. Would you employ a person with no experience, but, oh, fuck. YouTube did that thing where it deletes all the chats that I didn't. Wait, let me see. Oh, would you employ a person with experience but no college degree, or a person with college degree but no experience? Oh, the no college degree with experience over the person with no experience and a college degree any day of the week for two reasons. A, the college degree doesn't teach you shit. Actual real world experience does. If you have experience, I know that you know how to do the job. There's actual proof. Whereas with the college degree, you have a piece of paper that says, for all I know, you fucking cheated or on a test or something, or you had a teacher that passed you really easily when you don't know what the hell you're doing. But above all, let's say that I have two people who are equally capable of doing a job. Equally capable. One has a college degree, one doesn't. The person with the college degree probably has $100,000 to $200,000 in debt, and they're going to be really salty about that debt, and they're going to believe that it's my job to pay them back by having a much more bloated salary. The person without the college degree is probably going to have closer to zero debt, or maybe like $10,000 in credit card debt, or whatever stupid shit Americans do today. But you're going to have some credit card debt because you bought stuff that you probably couldn't afford, or I don't know. There's a lot of consumerism in America now. Versus the person who went to college probably has $100,000 in debt. The person with $100,000 in debt is going to have this belief that it's kind of on me in some way, shape, or form to pay it back through the form of a higher salary. Like, nobody goes to college and puts themselves into $100,000 in debt or $50,000 in debt. Like, we were at Rice University the other day. These are kids that are putting themselves in $248,000 of fucking debt for a degree. Just a bachelor's, $248,000 or so in debt. They're not doing that to get a normal salary. They're doing that to get an exceptional salary. And if the college degree does not cause you to be able to do your job better, like, I'm a small business. I'm not Intel. You know, I'm not IBM. Sorry, I can't afford to pay a university tax. And in my experience, like, I have seen zero correlation, between ability to do a job well, good work ethic, ability to deal with customers well, and motivation to continue moving forward, and a college degree. There's no correlation in my experience between these things. However, what I have experienced is a giant chip on the shoulder as a result of having the college degree. Not only because they think, like, I'm properly educated, I'm going to be treated differently here. But there's also this kind of, like, I'm in debt $120,000 and I kind of need you to help me handle that kind of thing, which I just don't want to deal with. Like, it's not I'm sorry that society fooled you into believing that this is what you need to do. I use AdBlock plus Sponsor Guard because I listen to a lot of music. I just want to support a creator that has inspiration. Thank you very much. I like AdBlock. I don't like the Sponsor Guard stuff. The reason I don't like Sponsor Guard is because a lot of the times those plugins, what YouTube used to do to me is it would think something was a sponsor and it would fast forward it past it, but it was a mistake. It wasn't a sponsor. Just the app fucked up somewhere. Somebody reported something wrong. So I'd go to rewind it like 50 seconds, double tap, and then it would automatically re-fast forward me to the end of it, which like drove me nuts. Then I have to manually go into the app and whitelist that creator, or manually go into the app and turn it off temporarily, because sometimes it's right, but sometimes it's wrong. But it was off enough that it pissed me off and I stopped using it. What do you think of digital ownership, NFTs as movies, music, games, etc.? Sucks to see people lose digital purchase from platforms that shut down or lose licensing. I have not gotten into NFTs at all. I'm a boomer there. Sucks to see. Yeah, I tend to prefer to own things than to have a platform tell me I could have it. So for instance, let's say I pay for YouTube Red, right? When you pay for YouTube Red, $10 a month, it'll let you download a video in the YouTube app. You can't do that otherwise. Rudy's is I don't eat donuts. I don't eat tacos for breakfast. Breakfast tends to be eggs and avocado, and every now and then with a little bit of garlic salt. But yeah, usually scrambled eggs and or fried eggs and avocado. I like Happy Eggs from Walmart. Happy Eggs make me happy. But what was I saying? I forget what I was just saying, and I can't rewind it because I don't have another window open to play it. Shit. Okay, 1 second. I forgot what I was saying. One moment. I'll be right with you. Don't say anything yet. Okay. Oh yeah, the digital purchases thing. So with YouTube Red, motherfucker. Now, when you say if you've been watching someone's content for more than 10 years, you should find something better to do with your life, does that apply to music? I think if somebody has made music that you really like and you've been listening to it for 10 years, if you don't want to buy their album because you don't want to support the record label and all that shit, buy a t-shirt from them or something, Like, what I used to do is I hated the fact that there was not a way for me to, there was not a way for me to buy music or movies in the way that I wanted to buy it. So for instance, I don't want DRM. I want to get a lossless copy. Whether if it's a movie or a television show, I want to be able to download it and have it show up immediately. Like with Usenet, Linux, because I don't know, like Windows with Windows 11 is really annoying with the upgrades. Fuck Mac. Suck a dick, Mac. No, I'm not using an Apple. Windows, honestly with Windows 10 it went downhill a lot. Like Windows Explorer would crash a lot when I would click the stuff in quick access on a clean install. I would click something in quick access and then it would just freeze. Or if I right click, that was what I would do. If I right click something on the left in quick access, it would freeze. It did that across different computers. Like Windows 10 had a lot of annoying little bugs, but the thing that got me the most with it is when they moved to, and it's Windows 10 admittedly is kind of a piece of spyware, but the worst part of it with Windows 11 is I had computers with 32 gigs of RAM and an SSD and a processor that did better than 9,000 on CPU benchmark that were not listed as supported by Windows 11. I'm like, fuck this. So I just decided to switch over. On my framework, I'm using Windows. And I plan to switch over because I have to figure out a way to make DaVinci Resolve work in Linux. On my desktop, I use Linux. On my work desktop, I use Linux. But on my framework, I'm using Windows because DaVinci Resolve on Windows will work with Intel Iris integrated graphics. But on Linux, you need an AMD or an NVIDIA GPU for DaVinci Resolve to work properly. And there's somebody who came out with some hack that allows you to use Intel Iris with it on Linux. I just haven't made the time for it. And 1 second. Okay, the digital ownership question. So you're like on YouTube Red, and I'm just going to answer this question even if something else comes up, because if I don't, I'm never going to fucking answer it. Like you can download a video. However, if you have your phone offline for 3 days and then you try to view that video that you downloaded, it doesn't show up. That's not real ownership. Like I didn't actually download that. I downloaded it if the app tells me I can. So what I like about NewPipe is so YouTube Red costs $10 a month. I download a video because we're going to be offline for a while, or I have another device that's offline that I only use in Wi-Fi. And when I have that video downloaded, I think I can view it, but I open the device and it goes, oh, you have to go online before you can view this video again. Whereas with NewPipe, it's actually downloading the fucking file so that it's actually fucking available. And this is the thing that drives me nuts. This is what drives people to piracy, is that the free solution is better than the paid solution. Like so often, the free solution is better than the paid. So with music, what I used to do is I couldn't buy a FLAC file online with no DRM. That doesn't exist. So I would download it on Usenet, and then I would buy the album, and then the album would just wind up getting shipped to me, and I wouldn't even open it. It would still be in the box. So if it was a group that, if it was something I really like Tori Amos, Little Earthquakes, or Tori Amos Under the Pink, or Alice in Chains, or something or Dream Theater, or something like that, I would download the FLACs from Usenet. I'd have instant, immediate, lossless, no DRM, the way I want, in seconds, immediately downloaded, and that would be piracy. And then I'd buy the album online or something, and then it would the physical copy would show up in a week or two in the mail. So this would allow me to appease my guilt to some extent. But yeah, the problem is that piracy almost always gives you a better option than paying for it. You get a better experience with piracy than you do doing things the right way. And 20 years later, sadly, a lot of that's still true. Dell has introduced a wedge-shaped slot requiring a new lock as it is incompatible with the Pennington lock. Same company trying to copy framework. Huh? Dell introduced a wedge-shaped slot requiring a new lock as it's incompatible with the Kensington lock. I've never used a lock on my laptop before, I'll be honest with you. I've never locked it to anything. Yeah, I don't really know much about that. Okay, back to the... Damn, I'm behind in chat by 30 minutes. Okay, I'm up to 11:01. What food will you miss from New York City? Naya. I've missed Lucha Lucha, but they already closed. I miss Mazzetto, but they already closed because Cuomo and de Blasio suck. Naya on 30th Street and 7th Avenue. Kava comes close. The harissa avocado at Kava comes close, but nothing compares to Naya. Nothing compares to Naya. Naya's amazing. I'm used to the quiet of the burbs, Hannah. I mentioned this before, but PhotoPrism is a really good Google Photos alternative, like potential Futo grantee level good. Have them send in a grant application. Grants at futo.org is down below. Grants email is down below. No question, just wishing you the best of luck with business relocation. Thank you. Thank you so much. Is your favorite color blue? Close, but not it. Even with GrapheneOS, they know what you're doing. Incorrect. Maybe we should have a bug or suggestion wiki for self-hosted solution. Maybe. The problem with using your own solution for email or something along those lines is you have to maintain the systems running your server. Most people just want to close the blinds. True. Do you use Firefox? It's not bad. I use Firefox. What are your thoughts on Manifest v3? Haven't really read up on it much. I think that's something where certain ad blockers don't work on it, but I really haven't read up enough on it. I'm not really informed. Hello, Jessica. Whatever. Long time no see. Hope you're doing well. Brian Smith. That's That is a $200 super chat. Are you going to do a podcast with Lex Friedman? No. I emailed twice because I like his show. I never heard back. I'm not offended at all. You know, again, like he talks to Mark Zuckerberg, Noam Chomsky, Elon Musk. Me? I don't know. It like I completely understand not making the guest list on that podcast. I really enjoy that show though. It's a quality show. I like Lex Friedman's show. Apparently, I've only ever quiet quit a job. I've never done more than I was paid for. I've never enjoyed a job, and I've worked in over a dozen industries. If you've worked in 12 different industries, then I imagine that you've had 12 different jobs. If you haven't enjoyed over 12 different jobs, that either means you're choosing a lot of shit companies to work for, or maybe you are depressed or something. Have you sought therapy? You know, we have this thing in society where if you break your arm, it's totally okay to go to a doctor. But if you're depressed, if you haven't enjoyed 12 jobs in a row, that there's something weird if you go to therapy. And I think that sucks. He talks about everything New York City has to offer and why he decided to move back. Is that not interesting to you? It is not interesting at all. I lived in New York City for 32 years. I lived in New York City for 32 years. I don't need to hear somebody else tell me why they moved back to New York City. I don't care about his preferences. That's literally like somebody telling me, here's why I chose to be gay. That's great. By all means, live your life. No judgment. I just don't care. Like, you could have somebody tell me for 5 hours why they chose to, or like why they are gay. I have to be careful there with words. Scratch the last sentence. You could have somebody tell me for 12 hours why they like men. I'm not going to like men. You could have somebody tell me for 12 hours why they dislike Tori Amos's music. I'm still going to like Tori Amos's music. You could have somebody say for 12 hours why they prefer Sonos speakers to Vandersteen speakers. I'm still going to prefer Vandersteen speakers. And you could have me watch Casey's videos over and over about why he loves New York City. I guarantee you it's not changing my mind. I lived there for 32 years. Trust me, I have every piece of information I need to make my opinion, to make my decision that I made. I made the decision I made based on my life experience and based on my personal preferences, which are going to be different than his. I'm allowed to have different personal preferences than Casey Neistat. He's allowed to have his own preferences as to why he loves New York City. Obviously, this shit's working for him because his channel's way more successful than mine is, and it's not really relevant to me. It's just not relevant to my life. I don't really care. You're interesting because you're unusual and atypical for a streamer. Why? Because you come off as honest and sincere. Do I? As a small business person, what do you think of remote work? Remote work can either be amazing or a clusterfuck depending on the person. Some people are really, really good at remote work and they'll do everything you want and everything you ever need them to do before you even ask them to, and everything will work. And some people will just never do anything unless you're constantly poking them. Some people will not answer instant messages, which is incredibly important because if you're used to being able to simply walk over to somebody and ask a question, and now it's remote, so you need to be able to ask them a question in Slack and they don't answer you, well, that really fucks up the ability to work and everything else. So it depends. It entirely depends on the employer, and it also entirely depends on the employee. Some are made for remote work, some are not. Hey, Louis, what do you think of all these scams going around YouTube of people pretending to be the channel you posted the comment on saying you want a text message or number in the app? It really pisses me off. And there's this one person that put together an app. I forget the name of the guy. Linus did a video. I think Linus did a video on removing all this spam and shit. Was that Linus or somebody else did a video on removing all the spam? And I haven't installed it just because I refuse to accept the premise that YouTube is... Thank you, Prefix. That YouTube can shadow ban all these different comments just because they have political views you may not like. You said a word that you're not supposed to say, but they can't figure out spam. Like if Google has the ability to filter comments and shadow ban people to the degree that they currently do, then you can figure out the fucking WhatsApp crypto spam. That's not on me. Like by taking that on, by doing that myself, I'm accepting the premise that that's not YouTube's job. YouTube has already made it their job to do content moderation. And you know they do because you know a lot of your comments don't show up in videos even when you didn't say anything wrong. So they're already doing that. They take 50% of the money that the creators are bringing to the platform with their content. So no, that's their job. That's their job. And so you're with Blue now. Who's Blue? Blue is not a person. Blue is a color. I love my blue chair. The amount of telemetry and data Apple collects is crazy. Every service, every app needs to connect to a different Apple server. Great OS, but zero privacy. Yeah. Having two options is not great. We find you interesting because you give us a lot of information. You speak your mind. You say things how they are. Truth is more valuable than anything. Thank you. It's the cat, Louis. Oh, you're hurting me right now. Where is my father? Why did he not come back? I don't know. Maybe he was a loser. That doesn't have to reflect poorly on you. Losers can have children. Maybe he died in war. Maybe your mother chased him away. That's really a conversation to have with a therapist rather than me. I would get rid of Discover if I was you. They didn't even bother doing anything about that scummy gym. Yeah, the thing is, if I do that, then I'm lowering the average age of my accounts, which means my credit score goes down. But I kind of want to stick it to Discover. And I'm lowering my credit limit. But I kind of want to stick it to Discover. Discover did a really shit job with me. Just want to say welcome to the EHA state, Louis. Your life advice video has really helped me get my act together. Hope to attend a workshop someday. I can't wait to open it. It's a few months in the making. A few months in the making. What is your daily driver phone? A piece of shit Pixel 6 Pro that I got for free running GrapheneOS. GrapheneOS is awesome. Pixel 6 Pro sucks balls. Runs way too hot. The fact that the processor on it is not really very efficient means that the battery is going to run out quickly, even though the phone has like 5,000 milliamp hour battery. The fingerprint reader being built into the screen sucks balls. So the Pixel 4a 5G, okay, it's way more accurate. Like you do this, unlocks. The Pixel 6 Pro, like, I'll do it right now, watch. Huh? Okay, fuck. It unlocked because I'm doing it on camera, you fucking piece of shit. Anyway, most of the time, but it's not being recorded, it doesn't fucking unlock. But more importantly, with the Pixel 4a 5G, even if the screen is off, you touch the fingerprint sensor and it unlocks. With this, it doesn't do that. I have to hit the power button and then hit this. And you also have to hold your finger there for what seems like 400 milliseconds or 500 milliseconds longer than you do with the Pixel 4a 5G. And you may think, well, why does that matter? You're only waiting half a second. No, I have to have my finger exactly in that spot. On the 4a 5G, you can tactically feel where it is because it's a hardware sensor. This is on the screen, and you need to have your finger in the exact perfect spot. If I have my finger here instead of here, then it's not going to work. So the longer that I have to keep my finger in that exact spot right over there that I can't feel because there's no tactical feedback for me to feel what the fingerprint sensor is, the higher the likelihood is that my finger is going to move off of it, and then it's not going to detect my fingerprint. So the fingerprint scanner on this thing's a piece of shit. It runs really hot, and the thing throttles itself pretty easily. The fact that it runs pretty hot means the battery's going to die quicker, and the form factor of the thing's just kind of shitty. And there's no headphones. It's a piece of shit. The 4a 5G is a nicer phone than this, but I like the fact that I can run GrapheneOS on it. I think Graphene is cool. Okay, I'm behind by 30 minutes in chat. We do a celebrity boxing match. I do not want to fight unless it is absolutely necessary. I don't feel like getting hit in the head. I've read too much shit about football players and boxers winding up with early Alzheimer's. Quiet quitting is a generational thing. Older people value work. Quiet quitters want to post a TikTok. Yeah, like part of the theory that I've had is that like back in the day, you had a different path to success than you did now. Like minimum wage being $2 and a house being $10,000 or $15,000 is different than minimum wage being $8, but a house being like $500,000. So like I could see how the path to success seems further away today. But at the same time, I don't know, like my grandma came here on a fucking boat. She got the ticket to the boat by selling a goat. And she lived in a basement with other people, with her family with 6 other families for years. Like, it's just hard. It's hard for me to think about the shit that my family went through several generations ago and then what people complain about today. Even myself. Where's your 10-gallon hat, you fucking fraud? Poured it to Abbott. Oh, Abbott's a funny governor. Abbott's a funny man. I was listening to him get questioned on the abortion thing, and he said, like, but no abortion even in the case of rape? What are you doing about this? Like, well, you don't understand. We're going to get rid of rape. We're going to get rid of rape. See, what we've done is we've made it so that the crime lab is processing shit faster now. So we're going to solve rape. And by solving it, we're going to be able to prevent it so it doesn't happen. So it's like, bro, oh my God, you sound as stupid as my ex-governor, just in the other direction. My old government was stupid in this direction. You're stupid in this direction. It's funny. I was listening to like an interview with Abbott, and it's like, oh man. It's stupidity in a direction that that at least is less directly harmful to the survival of my business. But, oh man. Do you have a good way to get started learning how to do hard drive SSD data recovery? Find videos on YouTube. There's all sorts of videos and resources. Ace Labs also has a lot of good documentation that you got to pay to read, but it's good documentation. So a bit of a controversial topic. Now that you're out in New York, what's your opinion on being armed? Both personal protection and still for your business, as robberies still happen. I have never, whether it was when I lived in New York or living in Texas, ever believed that you don't have the right to bear arms. I do not feel uncomfortable with you having a gun. I don't feel uncomfortable with you owning a gun. New Hampshire I think New Hampshire has, correct me if I'm wrong, I could be misremembering this, but it's something like the highest per capita ownership of machine guns in the nation, and I never felt uncomfortable living there. So, in New York City, you were not allowed to have a gun, which meant that the criminals were the people that had guns. So most of the times when you would hear a gunshot, or you saw something in the news about a gunshot, it tended to be a criminal shooting somebody rather than somebody defending themselves from a criminal, because, I don't know, New York City. By that definition, it seems most employees at the DMV are quiet quitting. Don't get me started. I think there would be a good case, a bipartisan case to be made across every section of the political aisle to make the DMV suck less. Like, if you're for voter ID laws, then it should be less difficult to get an ID and less miserable to deal with the people. Like, why does it suck to get an ID? Why is it so miserable to get an ID? Like, when you say that it's something that makes it more difficult for people to vote, a big part of it is that dealing with the DMV fucking sucks. Just to get my license, I waited on hold over 8 hours one day, and I kept getting transferred from person to person to person. And then they finally closed, and they said, oh, wait a second. I've been on the phone since like 8:30 this morning. You can't tell me at 3:55 you're closing. Even at my store, if a customer shows up at 7:50, the person will stay late and do overtime. Like, they don't just say, okay, sorry, you have to come back tomorrow. You came at 7 o'clock, and like we close at 8. That's not how this works. You stay in to deal with the customer. But I showed up at opening. Oh my God, just getting I'm not even going to go through the shit that I had to go through to get my fucking driver's license. That shit drove me nuts. It should be a bipartisan thing across the political aisle to make getting an ID suck less. Not by reducing the requirements, but just by making sure that people that work there are not completely incompetent schmucks. Any recommendations for Apple alternatives? Yes. Everything else. Avoid using acronyms. Andy, true. Only 200 characters, so pretty fit to fit a complete question. Make them simpler. Any word on when your DEF CON panel will be uploaded? I don't know. Ask the DEF CON people. I don't know if DEF CON was recording or not for that. Got a new M1 for work and look at the dock to connect ports. One is labeled Lightning 3, and I'm thinking, great, yet another dongle. Turns out they just rebranded USB-C as their own thing. Huh? I don't know if that's the case. I don't know much about the M1. I don't really know much. I don't follow. Even when I was fixing things on a regular basis, I really never followed the actual, the inner workings of all these things. Foldable phones are cool, but lack of micro SD card is bad. Micro SD Express better be in phone soon. Yeah, lack of micro SD card sucks. Casey is a propagandist. I don't know. I've also thought a little differently. So one of the things I did with my, one of the things you may have noticed during the governor's race is I never said vote for Larry Sharpe. I said consider Larry Sharpe. So I had a banner on the bottom of my videos that said consider Larry Sharpe for governor of New York State. I don't get to tell you who to vote for. Like, who am I to tell you who to vote for? I didn't like Andrew Cuomo. I really hated Andrew Cuomo, but I didn't say vote for this person. I said consider. When he came out, it's like, you must vote for this. It's like, fuck off, bro. Eat my dick. You don't tell me who to vote for, you fucking asshole. It's just, regardless of the candidate it is, it's just, I don't want to hear that shit. Hello, Mr. Rossmann. Nice to see a relaxed video instead of the raving on the road in meme car. Thank you. Do you like candy corn? I don't eat candy. I've been quiet quitting at my job because I'm paid minimum wage since I started as a security guard. Been working every weekday, no holidays, no vacation, no raises there for 2 years. Is there anything else that you could be doing with your life? I don't have anything to ask, Louis, but wanted to say that you're a dope MF and wanted to thank you for all your content over the years. Thank you, LV. Sony has released a flagship phone. Ah, Jim, I like that you're picking up the vocabulary. There's a 3.5 millimeter jack and toolless SD $999. That doesn't sound like a flag shit then. I just wish it could support other operating systems. How long are you staying at the place? I don't know. How are business support services there? I don't know. Don't know. How has Texas been treating you so far? Pretty decently. The post office has been treating me like shit, but the post office treats you like shit everywhere. That doesn't really matter in the state that you're in. What is Futo? Futo is an organization that seeks to give users back control over their technology through in-house engineering projects and grants to other people who are doing that. What is the deal with hashtag 000 in your videos? I don't know what you're talking about. Is it really hard for independent repair groups like yours to repair all these new foldable phones? I don't know. I don't even bother trying. I gave up on that shit years ago. Like, you know, you'll see resale value of Samsung phone, $290. Price of screen for Samsung phone, $260. And it's like, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not explaining to the customer that, like, okay, not only am I going to make 10 or 20 bucks for doing the screen repair, that's going to take me an hour, and I have to warranty it, but you're mad because you think I'm a ripoff. Like, I don't do that. I avoid that altogether. I need the ability to pay my employees more than $7 an hour. I can, again, like, I've seen Ubreak iFix ads before for management, like where they're paying managers 17 to 18 bucks an hour. My interns make more than that. Like, interns here make more than that. So I can't offer services that have zero profit margin, that are miserable. So I don't do that. And I also don't want to get cursed out all day long.
Oh, sweet mercy.
You take interns. Not at the moment. My GPA is 3.85 and I'm taking advanced courses in N. I don't know what N is. Sorry, sir. I completely bareback the internet and disable Windows updates. College degree usually means they can finish what they started in personal accountability maybe 20 years ago. No, not really. College degree means that they do what they're told. I quit college. I think I finished things that are worthwhile. I think I finished things that I started that are worthwhile. I think I have personal accountability and responsibility, and I did not finish college. I quit 3 times. That was mostly because I had better things to do, and I thought it was bullshit. That doesn't really, the college does not tell me that. It really doesn't tell me that. It tells me that you do what you're told. How do you feel about someone making $40,000 a year moving to New York City? That's good luck with that. I don't know. When I started, I moved out to an apartment that cost $400 a month that was filled with termites when I was making $400 to $600 a month. The thing is, there's a lot of opportunity in New York City because you have a very wealthy population you have a lot of wealthy people in a very small area. So there's a lot of opportunity there. And if you're willing to try and make use of the opportunity, then great. If you're not going to make use of that opportunity, then go somewhere else where the cost of living is cheaper, the people are nicer, the scenery is more peaceful, and the government's less fucked up. You know, if you're in New York City, it should really be so that you could milk the opportunities there for what they're worth. Again, high population density, lots of money moving around, lots of business there. Lots of companies are headquartered in New York City or have their main offices in New York City, which means there's a lot of opportunity there. If you're going to use that opportunity, great. If you're just going there to make a normal living, to be clear, there's nothing wrong with making a normal, honest living. That's fine. You know, do that from Nashua, New Hampshire, or Custer, South Dakota, or someplace that's not going to drive you crazy. Or Round Rock, Texas. I'm so glad you made it out of New York. Thank you for fighting the good fight. Samsung keeps installing TikTok on my Note. Have you seen the crazy stuff in TikTok's recent TOS? I have never used TikTok in my life, so I have not. But what I am aware of is the fact that, let's see if I can find this video on my channel. Oh, this is the stuff that drove me crazy. Let's see. This is the stuff that drives me crazy. Let's see, am I able to find this video? Will I find it? Will I find it? Will I find it? Eh? Okay, no, I'm not going to find it. I suck. Anyway, okay, so I think this is it. Yeah, here we go. Thoughts on Andrew Tate. Don't have any, never watched anything he's ever produced, don't really care. I'm sorry, I feel like you wasted $5. You can ask that for free. I've never heard a single thing that he said in my life. Anytime somebody is trending a lot, I go out of my way to avoid it. I think that's a way of insulating my brain. So if somebody's trending all the time, I go out of my way to avoid figuring out why. So it's just part of the ways I protect my brain. So I don't know jack shit about him. I know he's been banned off a bunch of platforms. I don't know what for. I don't know what he stands for. Honestly, I don't care. This video, Samsung installs TikTok on your phone. CTA lied about manufacturer activities. I will put a link in the chat down below. So they originally said, so the CTA, which represents Samsung, said that independent repair shops are going to put TikTok on your phone. And the funny thing is we have no reason to put TikTok on your phone. But you know what happened 2 years later? Samsung started putting TikTok on people's phones. So Charlie Brown, who works for the Consumer Technology Association, who will never be held accountable or responsible by the government for lying while he was in that hearing, said that you never know, they may put TikTok on it. While a company that he represents as a lobbyist installs TikTok on your phone. Oh my God. The right to repair bill failed twice in Washington, and a big part of why it failed in Washington state were lobbyists like Charlie Brown and CTA. So one of the things is, so I have chosen to entirely give up on Thoughts on Tesla AI Day. I don't give a shit. Why does that have a day? Like, why does that have a day? You know, like Christmas has a day because Jesus born, or Easter, Jesus raising from the dead or some shit. Like, what did Elon Musk fucking rise from the dead or anything? Like, I don't know. Why does that have a day? I don't give a fuck. But I'm not even religious. It's just like, you know, things used to have a day that mattered. Like Thanksgiving had a reason to it. You know, Independence Day has a reason to it. Why the fuck should I give a shit about Tesla Day? Get the fuck out of here. I forget what I was just talking about before that. Oh, someone moving if they have $40,000 a year to New York City. Yeah, wrong. I don't know. Wrong place to move to. $250K for Rice undergrad. I thought it was like $250K was more like med school tuition. Let's see. Let's look it up. We'll look it up together. Let's see. Rice University tuition. What was it? How much does it cost to go to Rice? Okay. So it looks like it's close to 51,000. Okay, so maybe it's like 200,000 for 4 years. Either way, it's fucking crazy. It's fucking nuts. The smartest person I know dropped out of high school, and she raised $50 million for her startups. Good on her. I wish I had $500 to buy one of these Rossmann shares. You will someday. You will. Have you tried Texas barbecue? I've tried a lot of Texas barbecue, and none of it compares to Casey's Rib Shack, New Hampshire. Casey's Rib Shack is the shit. I miss Casey's Rib Shack. I'm never going to find an alternative. How do you feel about somebody making $40K a year moving to New York City? I feel like I'm going to take $1,000 out of your salary every time you copy and paste that. Don't know why I use Linux. It wrecks your sanity. My sanity was wrecked a long time before I decided to use a Stallman operating system. I had an idea for an acronym for Futo. I probably deleted it. It already means something. I get way too much spam email, so I delete stuff like that almost instantly. I pay for YouTube Premium and I use NewPipe. I feel dirty if I download and don't have Premium. I'm odd. I understand it. Again, I understand what you're doing. Like, for the most part, piracy almost always gives you a better outcome than actually paying the vendor, because the vendor always has lots of bullshit DRM in place. And even when they don't, they usually don't have a lot of choices when it comes to file format, which pirates do. But piracy does not compensate the creator or the people that made it possible. So I use a hybrid model where I will pay for the content and then I will grab it in my own way, because the creator does not allow me to grab it in the way that I want. What is this hashtag 000 in your videos about? I don't know what the hell you're talking about. I don't know what you mean. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that is. I don't know what 000 is. Stop asking that. Have you tried Revanced? I have not. I have not. I'm not as interested in it because, again, they just kind of hacked the YouTube app rather than create something else from scratch. And I kind of like what NewPipe has done. They've actually created some shit from scratch. They're both good pieces, but the reason I have more interest in NewPipe is that they've created something from scratch. I don't know if you've been asked this before, but have you ever tried Kden Live? Yes, it's an absolute piece of shit. Oh my God, it's so fucking bad. It's so bad. I feel bad saying this because it's a piece of free software and you're supposed to always evangelize the free software, but oh God, it's so bad. It's so bad. Like just you can't use audio plugins in that thing. Like you just the only audio plugins that work I think are LADPSPA or LASDP. I forget what you can't use LV2 plugins, you can't use VST plugins. So for audio plugins, there's so much shit that just doesn't work. And then the crashing. Oh god, the crashing. The crashing. I used Kdenlive from 2012. Actually, no, I used Kdenlive for like 2013, 14, and 15. And then at some point, I just realized I don't want my computer to crash all the time, so I gave up. Yeah, oh my, I can't. Like, I tried it a while back just to see if it got any better, and it's like, it still sucks. It still sucks. It still sucks so bad. I gave a few $100 to that project years ago, but like, they don't need a few $100s. They need millions of dollars to like hire a full-time development team to just revamp that shit and make it not suck. Like, no, I'd rather pay for DaVinci Resolve. I'd rather pay $300 to use DaVinci Resolve than use Kdenlive for free. DaVinci Resolve is just so much better on so many levels. Paying for email service isn't that costly. I paid $10 for email and self-hosting services. Huh. How are you liking Texas? I enjoyed Texas. Are you a Trekkie? I am not a Trekkie. I've never watched Star Trek. You know the reason, Louis. I did seek therapy. I was depressed. And once I got past depression, I started my own business. That's awesome. Are you happy with your own business? I hope you're happy with your own business. And also, kudos to you for actually going to therapy. A lot of people don't do that because there's that stupid stigma that if you go to therapy, that means that you're crazy or something. And it's really silly. But, you know, people will always get help for health problems, but for some reason they won't go to therapy. And the therapy is absolutely necessary for a lot of people. And you'll be a better person for it if you find the right person. It's hard to find the right person, though. But once you find the right person, you'll be a better person for it. I don't get when he watches Casey. He just makes random videos, mostly with no point to them. Welcome to my channel. I do the same thing. My videos don't have a point either. He's an artisan. Casey Neistat is a really good artist. He's good at painting a landscape, and he's good at drawing you into that landscape. That's much harder than you think it is. If you think it's easy, try to do it. It's not going to come out well. Love your videos. I would love to add comments about no vents in the bottom of MacBooks. Love the vents that are on the sides and back so it doesn't suffocate your lap. Huh? I like to add the comments about no vents in the bottom of MacBooks. I love that the vents are on the sides and back so it doesn't suffocate in your lap. Okay. Let's see. You've been following since you had 400 subs in here. You used to answer my questions on Twitter. I used to have a Twitter back then. Poria, I remember you. I remember you, Poria. Yeah, I used to actually have a... I remember you were one of the OGs from early 2013. Awesome. I just added you as a moderator. I remember you. Yeah, I got rid of my Twitter several years ago. Love your video about privacy versus Neil's perspective on privacy. I respect him a lot, but you made a great point. I shared that video with a lot of people. Yeah, like I get his point. I really do understand his point. That video had a lot of hate that I don't think was really fair. You know, a lot of people, they say, like, what do I use? I want privacy. Do I use ExpressVPN or do I use Google Phone? And like, I imagine if you're somebody that actually wants to educate people, at that point, you just go, oh my God, fuck my life. It's like if somebody came to me and said, Louis, I want to learn board repair. Do I buy Xiaomao or do I buy Microscope? And like, for me to just, it's going to take me 20 minutes to just deconstruct what's wrong with the set of questions you asked me. Like, do I buy a Xiaomao BGA workstation or do I buy a Microscope? Look, it's going to take me 20 minutes just to start deconstructing why that's the wrong question to ask. How much do I have to donate to make you answer about 000? I don't know what 000 is. There's no amount of money you can donate for me to answer a question that I do not have the answer to. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're referring to. I have no answer for you whatsoever. Yeah, I have no answer for you. I have no idea what you're talking about. None. Zero. Nada. No dice. No idea. No clue. Nothing I can do for you. If I say I don't know, then after offering me money is not going to make me know what it is. Can you call out Google for not letting me type the effing F word in any of your super chats? It's only so effing annoying and detracts from what I really want to get across. Oh, I don't really know. I've called out Google for things that I think are a lot more important than keeping you from cursing. Yeah, I don't know what to say there. Okay. Welcome to the EHOS state. Thank you. But you could consider expanding to other platforms. Why or why not? Yes and no. So I already post on Odyssey and Rumble. It's just nobody bothers watching there. I haven't even announced it several times. You can find me on Odyssey, Rumble. Here we go. So if you want to watch me on Rumble, here I am on Rumble. If you want to watch me on Odyssey, let's see. Here I am on Odyssey. It's just nobody uses this shit. Like nobody. It's just, no, like nobody uses this. So, oh look at this. Look. So, oh no, I made 1 cent. Like this video got. So like this video got about 200,000 views on YouTube. It got like 39 views on Rumble. Like I don't know. Nobody uses this platform. Same thing with Odyssey. You know, Peter Thiel has a good line about this, along with that Blake Masters dude in this book called 0 to 1. His argument is that there's absolutely no point to creating a product that does the same thing that another product does. Because even if you're 20% cheaper, like you have to be like 80% cheaper or 90% cheaper before people care. You can't just create a product that's the exact same thing that somebody else does. You can't create a product that's the exact same thing that somebody else does, just slightly cheaper or slightly faster, because people are going to have this doubt as to whether or not it's really better, and it has to be better by enough of a magnitude that people are actually going to switch over. Let me say that 000 is a thing. Get off Rumble. I don't know what 000 is, and I don't know what the whole salt about Rumble is. But I appreciate the 1999. That is way more than I deserve. But I really don't get the 000 thing. Also, I'm 30 minutes behind in the main chat, so I'm going to get to it. Did you see Mr. Who's the Boss calling out free mobile games that will cost you thousands to get good? I haven't played mobile games since I played Zenonia back in like 2013 or 2014. I tried to play that game again recently. I downloaded the same game, and for some reason I didn't find it entertaining. I think that's just part of me becoming a boomer. Damn, this is long. That's 5 lines. That's going to come off the screen before I finish reading it. Just finished watching a video about the problems with Apple Certified Repair Centers, making me worry about sending my personal MacBook, and even though I have Apple Care, what would you recommend for brakes? I recommend not breaking it. Yeah, don't break it. Don't spill anything on it, and you're good. Also, back up all your data because the drive is soldered on the board. If it breaks, I don't know. Like sometimes Apple's better than us. Sometimes we're better than Apple. It depends on the situation. And there are times where I recommend people to, So it depends on what people like. Who's better? Who I recommend? Like there are times where I tell people, yeah, just go to Apple for this. They'll give you a better deal. And there are times where we're going to cost $100 and Apple's going to be $2,000. Do you like the Linus Tech Tip screwdriver? I have never paid more than $7 for a screwdriver in my life. So I'm just. It's not about whether I like it or dislike it. It's just not a product. That product is not for me. Like some of my, I think there are times where I've paid $11 for a screwdriver. That's pretty rare, but there are times where I've paid $11 for a screwdriver. But yeah, like I've heard that screwdriver is like 50 or 70 bucks or something like that. And I just have no use for a screwdriver that costs that much money. So there's really no reason for me to buy it. I have no reason to buy a screwdriver that costs that much money. Like as a professional, I don't think that is marketed for me. I don't think it's like, again, I like screwdrivers from Wera and Weha. So let's see, Wera, Pico, Finish. 000 is a tag on some of your videos and live streams that Tabitha constantly. Probably has something to do with Streamlabs. $5 so people stiffoo. I don't know if it has to do with Streamlabs. Oh, okay. Maybe it's because I linked to this screwdriver in my video and YouTube is so fucking stupid it thinks that's a hashtag. Okay, yeah, because I was actually Googling for this where, like I use screwdrivers like this. Okay, so inflation has gone up a little bit, so there's $9. Okay, that's more than I used to pay for this thing. But, like, these are the screwdrivers that I get. Like, I get these screwdrivers. I like Wera as well. So, Wera, T5, screwdriver. I've seen Google throw 000 on trending videos, even mine. I don't know what that is, man. Ask Susan Wojcicki. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. You can keep giving me money. You guys can keep giving me money. Listen, I'll happily take your money for a question I don't know the answer to. But anyway, this over here, like this is a $7.61 screwdriver. These Wera and Weha make some of the best screwdrivers money can buy. In my opinion, you really can't do better than Wera and Weha. I have a slight preference for Wera after trying them, unless it's a 000 Phillips. For the 000 Phillips, I don't like the Wera that much. For those ones, I usually prefer the Weha. So I'll use the Weha for 000 Phillips, which admittedly there's less and less of that you use nowadays. But yeah, like, hello, Kate. Kate, it's a pleasure to see you on the stream. I look forward to speaking with you and your business partner on on Tuesday to work out the details of you know what. But that's going to be fun. That's going to be fun. Have I told everybody who watching, grants at futo.org down below? Again, we've given legendary grants of anywhere from a few $1,000 to 6 figures and more. We have Ian Clark, we have Nick Merrill at CalyxOS, we have Daniel McKay at GrapheneOS. We've got a bunch more grants coming up soon. So please do send an email. The worst thing that happens is you get a no. The worst thing that happens is you get a no. But do check it out. Do check it out. F you. You just told me to fuck me for $100. Thank you. I'll take your $100. Fuck you too, sir. Fuck you too. Thank you. Thank you. That means a lot to me. God bless you. Very kind of you. That's very kind of you. My first time was just like my first football game. By the end of it, I was bloody and bruised, but hey, at least my dad... What the fuck did I just read? Okay. One of the problems that I have, and this is what would get me in trouble if I really became famous or became an influencer someday, is I really like dark humor. I really enjoy like the most fucked up forms of humor. And the more fucked up the humor is, the more funny I find it. And it's one of the many reasons I'd never be able to be a politician. I get in so much shit. But yeah, the Linus screwdriver. I haven't tried it just because I'm not the target market for that device. There are people for which that is the target market. Or the target demographic. I am not the target demographic of the Linus screwdriver, so it is not really my place to criticize it, to praise it, to review it, or go over it. I use $7 screwdrivers from Weha and Wera. They are very high quality. The screwdrivers that I've purchased in 2011 through 13 are still in my store to this day. Actually, who am I kidding? I fucking love. So the only thing that breaks these screwdrivers is when you lose them. I've definitely lost a bunch of fucking screwdrivers before, but the screwdrivers that I bought in 2011 through 13 that I didn't lose, I still have. Like they just keep working. They take a licking and keep on ticking. Love your video about privacy versus Neil's perspective. Oh yeah, so that was what I was talking about before I got interrupted. Yeah, like I get it when you have somebody saying like, what do I do? Do I get like de-Googled phone or ExpressVPN? How you just want to jump off a building when you get that question for the 100th time in a day. And I understand the frustration from that, but at the same time, you can't just go all in on the like, you're not important. Why do you need this level of privacy? Thank you, John. John, that's way more than I deserve. You've given me way more than I deserve. Thank you. Graphene recommends the Pixel 6S since they will have 5 years of guaranteed support, whereas the Pixel 5 will stop getting updates in a year, even though 6A is twice as fast a processor. I don't give a fuck about the speed of the processor, bro. I care about basic usability. That's the thing. Like, I will happily take a slow processor if the fingerprint reader works. This has a much faster processor, but the fingerprint reader doesn't work properly. And there's no headphone jack. And it's big and unwieldy. And the fact that it's a faster processor means it's going to run hotter, which means it's going to thermal throttle, burn my hand, and fuck up the and make the battery run out fast. I just don't. Nah. The weight of minimum wage hasn't kept up with inflation since the 1970s. Then maybe they should stop fucking up the currency and then blaming the businesses that don't pay more. Can you tell I'm a little salty about that? Listen, like I'm sorry, it's not my fault the government fucked up the currency. It really isn't. Like, I don't make more money now than I did in 2019 and 2020 with my business. I don't. My business does not make more money than it did in 2019. Apple charges the same amount of money for their products now that they did in 2019. I can't just raise all of my prices because the government fucked up the currency. Don't even get me started on that shit. Like, it's not... People make decisions on buying products and on fixing products. People make decisions on fixing products based on a basic formula. Cost of replacement, cost of repair. If cost of replacement is a static cost, then I can't continuously raise the cost of repair. Because if I keep raising the cost of repair, when the cost to replace stays the same because Apple hasn't raised their prices, that means that less people will want things fixed. Like, I am sorry that the government has raped our currency, but that really is not the responsibility. Like it's not. I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like the idea like the businesses are responsible because the government fucks up the currency. Sorry, I meant F you without Google getting in between. Continue being well, John. What the? Like I'm guessing you're one of those Bitcoin millionaires. But thank you very much. That is more than I have earned, more than I deserve, but I appreciate it. Every now and then, I'll go to a restaurant or a bar and randomly give a tip of $50 and leave before I get to see their reaction, just for the hell of it. I wonder if that's what you're doing. If I'm having a day where I feel depressed, I'll do that. Like if I'm having a day where I feel depressed, I do that and I leave. I don't know if that's what you're doing, but it's something that I found that gives me a sense. It gives me a sense of joy. Okay, we have a bunch of spam. Mods kicking ass in the spam. What did he say about early onset Alzheimer's? Who's he?
Oh, sweet mercy.
You left the oven on. Go away. How come the hardest working jobs get paid the least amount? Somebody's being robbed. I don't think that people get paid based on how hard the work is, but rather what the demand is for that particular job and the supply of people that are able, capable, and willing to do that job to a high quality standard. New Hampshire is indeed the winner of the most machine guns per capita. Yep. The reason the DMV has not improved voter ID laws keep getting pushed is for voter suppression. I am happy. Listen, I'm not mad at voter ID. I am pissed at the DMV sucking. I am 100% for making the DMV suck less so it is easier for people to get an ID if they are a law-abiding citizen. We mean to give you money for watching your content with ad block. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you. You can always watch my contents on Odyssey to avoid ads or Rumble, and I also fully support you using tools like NewPipe to be able to download any of my content, old or new, for free without watching ads or paying. Louis, you'd be pissed at YouTube's reply when I asked about the scam they have going around. I don't know what you mean by the scam. Louis is very behind in chat. That's because I try to give somewhat thoughtful answers to people's questions, and doing that means not reading questions from chat. What do you think of Google's Manifest version 3 crippling ad blockers on Chromium? Could it be a good video idea for you about user control? I think so. It's definitely a good thing to talk about. I think it would be fun to see a conversation between Charles and Aaron on that. Charles is like one of the lead programmers here. I can't really talk about it from a technical aspect very well. I wish Discover Card would bring back the Chicago skyline design. Now they only have the New York City skylight card design. I know you hate MacBooks. Which alternative do you recommend? Framework or a ThinkPad? But if you need to use Mac OS X, then you're really kind of stuck with Apple.
Oh, sweet mercy.
How much money do you get from a YouTube Premium view? I honestly don't know. I don't know if there's a way I can tell. I can see the percentage. I could see the amount of money in a video that I made total off of it, but I don't know how many of the viewers were YouTube Premium viewers, and I don't think they give me enough information to figure out what a view is worth in YouTube Premium. I'd love to see that, though. Every chat from 1241 to 1251 has been removed from the history because I was too far behind. That sucks. When should we expect to see kitties? Eventually. A month or two. Probably a month. Probably 2 months. I'd say November. $250K for Texas med school, but the state pays $500K.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Huh. Do you know much about the main Windows SIs? We have a rule on this channel, which is no acronyms. So Staten Island, I don't know about Windows in Staten Island. I grew up in Staten Island. I spent a lot of time in Staten Island. I spent a lot of time in Richmond Town in particular, and Newdorp. And I went to Susan Wagner High School. But outside of that, I don't know much about. I did use Windows in Staten Island, but I got SUSE Linux at the Best Buy and by the Staten Island Mall for $79.99. Actually, I'll show you. I still have the box for that. This.
Oh, sweet mercy.
I don't know what the fuck that means, bro. Check this out. I paid for Linux. I know. I'm like the guy that pays for WinRAR. You ever see that XKCD comic about paying for WinRAR? That's me. I paid for SUSE Linux. I bought it in the Staten Island Best Buy by the Staten Island Mall. But yeah, in all seriousness, if you use a stupid acronym, I'm just gonna fill the acronym in with whatever I think it is, and it's not gonna be something that you like. So please stop using acronyms. Keep up the hard work on Right to Repair and well support. Hardware engineer here. Come and meet up in San Jose. I don't know if I'm going to be going to California for a while, but we'll see. So what was I about to Google? I was about to Google something and show it to you. I was about to Google something. Fuck, what was it? I forgot what I was talking about. Damn it. Damn it. Oh, well. No acronyms. No acronyms. No more acronyms. I'm assuming that you meant Staten Island. I don't know what a Windows SI is. Oh, the XKCD comic.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Thanks so much for your voice and right to repair. I'd love to take you to lunch next time in Texas. I'm a cinematographer based in New Orleans. I film throughout Texas often. Oh, cool. What do you film? Email me, Louis@rossmanngroup.com. If you spell my name right, I will eventually read your email. Keyword eventually. There's some emails for some students that had a project they didn't respond to for 3 weeks. It felt horrible. I eventually do. Yeah, check this out. So, okay, it's WinZip. Someone accidentally buys a full version of WinZip. Like sale, 0, 0, 0, 0. 22 years later. Yay! I love XKCD. Look at that. That's just hysterical.
Sweet mercy.
I miss you. Come back. Fuck you, you piece of shit rapist ex-governor. GTFO. Anyway, but yeah, I paid for Linux. I pay for stuff that I like. Look, I was 13 when I bought this. I bought this with my fucking snow shoveling money. I spent $80 with my snow shoveling money to buy Linux. So listen, when I say if you like a content creator, by all means, give them $1 if you've watched 10 years of their stuff. And people are like, well, I bet you don't do that. I paid for fucking Linux, so I don't want to hear it. Do you have any recommendations for virtual credit card providers? I don't. There's a bunch that I want to start trying out. I went out of my way to not recommend a specific one because I didn't want people to go off on the video being sponsored. But more importantly, because I realized like the GrapheneOS video got so much hate from people saying it was sponsored, which I thought was fucking hysterical. Like after 10 years of never taking a single fucking sponsor on this channel, yes, I decided to illegally shill something without declaring it as I'm supposed to via FCC regulations for an open source operating system with no budget. Like great. Anyway. But yeah, I haven't tried them yet, so I want to try them and figure out which ones I think are good or not before I do that. System integrator, sorry, I don't know what a system integrator. I don't. That's over my head, bro. I put flux on motherboards and I heat it, and then they work, and then I give them back to customers. I'm not as smart as you think I am. I don't know what that is. Why would anybody complain about having too much holidays? These are days you don't have to work. Huh? I'm wondering about moving to GrapheneOS my Pixel 6 Pro. I'm wondering if I may lose call screening and now playing. I don't know. The call screening, I don't know. That's honestly a good question for their Discord. I'm not for the Discord, for their Matrix. So let's see. Here, so I'm going to put a little link in here, and you can ask them directly. So Joy, ask them. For your video that's skipping ads is piracy, have you checked about your extending your car's warranty? XPYR, brah. Yo, man, your comments have always been high quality and the type of comments that really inspire deeper thought over the years. Not you. What's your opinion on AI and CBDC? No acronyms. How to overcome burnout and depression. Therapist and rest. And a change of setting and change of pace. I'm just not doing the acronyms thing. You're giving me a headache. I never visited Exeter while I was in New Hampshire for about 9 months, and I never visited Exeter, unfortunately. How long have you been using NewPipe? About a week and a half. But I appreciate it, Jonas. Thank you. But the thing is, now I have to remember what your original comment was to put the acronym into place. Just never use acronyms. Avoid acronyms. I'm literally forced to pirate because even though I pay for Netflix every month, the catalog is dog water due to geo-locking and doesn't have many live shows. Thank you, Kate Gray. That's too kind of you. That's more than I deserve. I thought Futo could stand for Finding Utopia Tech Organization. You know, that's not what it stands for. But you know what? I'm not going to go over what it stands for. Maybe you can convince Casey's Rib Shack to move to Texas if they get priced out in New York City real estate. They're not going to get priced out. They're in Manchester, New Hampshire, which is very cheap. Any book you recommend? Ready to read Jim Camstar with no. What are you looking for? Thoughts on the potential of World War III? Scary. KDE needs a Futo grant. KDE needs Jesus, bro. Every now and then I'll go around and I'll use Plasma just to see if it sucks less than it used to, and like, I don't know. I'm an XFCE fanboy. I use XFCE. Every time I try Plasma, it just seems like a buggy, laggy piece of... Like, KDE needs more than... KDE needs Jesus. KDE needs a lot of help. More. I don't know if... Where's my water bottle? Oh, here we go. Thank you, Six. Most therapists chose the career because they themselves are screwed up. I wanted to be a therapist when I was younger, and I was very fucked up. I mean, what am I mean? Was. I use past tense. like anybody's going to buy that. But yeah. How do I motivate myself in learning Blender? I've hit a wall. Use a video editor that does not look like the cockpit of an airplane. Have you looked into Rumble and Odyssey? Yeah, but nobody uses those platforms. Even the evangelists of those platforms will say, Louis, why don't you post to Rumble? This is what I find the most funny. When people who are Odyssey, Rumble, and Library evangelists will say, Louis, why don't you post to Rumble and Odyssey? And it's like, I use them. Even the people who want me, who are evangelists for the platform don't even use the fucking platform. Like, you don't even use the platform. So, like, if the people who are evangelists for the platform don't even use it, what are the chances of normies using it? Almost none. Slim to none. There's a lot of artists that will give you a download code for the music after you buy the album. There's a small percentage, as Apple would say, but actually a small percentage. Not like when Apple says a small percentage, which means 99% of the people that ever purchased the product. How's the gym? What max bench? You know, the gym kind of got fucked up because of travel, stress, and other things over the past few months. There's been travel, stress, and a few other things that I've had to deal with. But my max bench is still sitting at 285. I was really hoping to be closer to 300 by the end of the year, but that's probably not going to happen, unfortunately. But such is life. I'm working my way back up. I mean, Dell puts the schematics online for text. You could easily flux that cap, but I won't show for them. Branch out. How do you feel about... Okay, that's an acronym, so we're not going there. But, okay, does Dell put a schematic? When you say schematic, do you mean motherboard schematic, or do you mean, like, here's how you take the case apart? Here's how you take the case apart. Okay, I appreciate it, but who gives a shit? I can figure that out in 5 minutes. Like, what I care about is motherboard schematic, and I don't think that they do that. If they do, then by all means, I stand corrected, but I haven't seen proof of that yet. Mental health is important. It really is. I agree. Are you a good debater? No, I'm a horrible debater. I'm a horrible debater. I can lose debates with people that don't even understand the topic, that are just making shit up. I don't have that skill. I'm really bad at it. It's a weak point. Bought an S10 screen from China with black dots for 40 pounds. Only screen is 150 pounds refurbished. 200 I did it myself. Right to repair. Right to repair. You fix that shit. Bada bing, bada boom. Enjoy it. Free speech is kicked off YouTube, so some have to go to Rumble. Yeah, but nobody uses it. Like, you know how many times in a day somebody will ask why I don't post videos to Rumble, and it's like, I'm on the platform. You don't even use Rumble, and you're asking people, and you, like, nobody uses it. That's the problem. Hell, if $10 is expensive for a screwdriver, better not develop a where I have it. Hello, Kate Gray. You should accept Monero for donations. IRS a 600,000 bounty to crack its privacy. Practically all darknet markets have dropped Bitcoin for it. Maybe. I don't know. It's like a very small percentage of people would actually use that. What do you think of proprietary black boxes in every CPU, such as Intel Management Engine? I hate it. AMD PSP, hate it. And a Microsoft Pluton, hate it. I mean, we need to... There's a lot of crap. There's a lot of work that has to get done. There's a lot of layers of the tech stack that have to be reclaimed. You should get on Linus's Flowplane. I don't join platforms that have paywalls. Again, I strongly believe in this being free. So, like, I strongly believe in this being free. So, like this over here, I like this to be free. If this helps you, what is this 5th mic in 2 months? This is not the 5th mic in 2 months. I've had the same microphone for a year, which was an Audio-Technica AE5400, and that was starting to go to shit, and that was my spare mic anyway. So this is a blueberry. A blueberry. But this over here, like, this should be free. I want this to be free. Now, if somebody wants to donate because this helped their business add, $40,000 a year in revenue, listen, I'm not going to be opposed to them donating. But at the end of the day, somebody who's broke and poor should be able to watch this and learn something from it. So I post to many different platforms, but I avoid platforms with paywalls. Six-figure grants, what the fuck? Oh man, can't I just get that for being who I already am? Too many bugs, Paul Daniels, too many bugs. Target demographic of the Linus screwdriver is people who watch Linus. I don't know. Again, like I've had people tell me that that screwdriver is very good competitively with other screwdrivers in that price range. I don't know what the use is of a $50 to $70 screwdriver. Like I'm just, it's just something that I'm ignorant of. I have never needed a screwdriver that costs more than $7 to $11 for my business. And I work on electronics professionally. We do this as a business, day in, day out. I need that screwdriver to be able to remove screws that are partially stripped. So sometimes people will use a cheap $1 screwdriver to try to remove a screw, and they'll strip the screw, and I'll use my screwdriver, which is just, precision machined slightly differently. I'll put it in there, and the screw that they couldn't remove, I remove instantly. My tool set works every single day. We run a very competitive shop. We have to, we have to get things done very quickly. And the screwdrivers that I use from where on Weha have always allowed me to get that done, and they cost anywhere from $5 to $11. So I don't know what the $70 screwdriver is for. It's just, it's not for me. It's not for me. Like, if there's something that my $7 screwdriver or $11 or $10 screwdriver is not doing that would make me a better technician by, enough to make it worth that, then I'm open to it, but I have not heard of that. When I was doing better financially, I would leave a piece of art with a generous tip. That's nice of you. Yeah, there have been a few times where like I'm kind of feeling depressed. I'm not having the greatest day, or something fucked up happens, and what I do is like I'll just go to a place that I know treats people like. I'll go to an IHOP or something where I just know the person there has like a shit job and a shit experience every day, and I'll buy an omelet and I'll leave them a $50 or $100 tip. It's not something I do every day, but if I'm feeling really down and depressed, I do that, and it always gives me a little kick afterwards. I feel better after that. How much? I answered that one already. Have you ever tried to roll back the firmware in AirPods? That assumes that statement assumes that I've touched an AirPod. Never. Are you speaking into a blueberry to make BlackBerry jealous? Maybe. You guys say more machine guns like it's a bad thing. That's not me. I never said that. 569 viewers. Nice. Awesome. I am 90 viewers away from the amount of live viewers I had when I would do a live stream back in 2016 with 40,000 subscribers. Yay! Coral Linux used to have a little penguin. Seuss. Yes, I paid for Seuss. I paid $80 for Linux. What got you into this business? An accident. I bought a MacBook because I needed a MacBook to run Logic, because after Apple bought eMagic, they stopped making a PC-compatible version. Cunts. So I needed to use Logic for a work session. The studio I was working at was closing. I bought a MacBook. It came broken. I fixed it. I wound up selling it. I made money. And then I realized, I just lost my job. The studio that I'm working at is closing, and I just made $250 for something that was pretty simple. Let me try that again. And then I kind of rolled with it. It was an accident. I think that's why it's important to just do shit. Like whatever, just be doing something. I was a shit recording engineer, but being a recording engineer is what got me to work as an intern at a studio. Working at a shitty studio because I was a shitty intern is part of what got me to be in that situation of needing that device. Working at a shitty studio because I was a shitty intern is why the shitty place went out of business. The shitty place going out of business is what prompted me to buy a device on my own. Me being poor because I was an intern that made no money was why I bought it off of eBay, broken and used, rather than buying it from a proper vendor. Me fixing it and then reselling it for money is what gave me the idea that I can do this for money, and that's what led to me doing this. Like, you're never going to chart that path intentionally. It's just not going to happen. As long as you're out there and you're doing something, like you're doing something with your life, regardless of what it is, you're more likely to get somewhere than if you do nothing. Buying Linux is a flex. No, buying Linux is what you do when you have 56K internet and you want to try Linux. You try downloading a DVD over freaking 56K modem. You know how old this shit is? This is SUSE 8.1. I didn't have broadband back then. There was no broadband in my household. Do you own firearms? If you're uncomfortable with that, what do you think of guns? Asked and answered. Asked and answered. Second Amendment. Go Second Amendment. Happy with the Second Amendment. Happy to live in a state that's more supportive of it. What is your opinion on Price's Law when it comes to your own business? What's Price's Law? Do you notice your workers share the work equally? What is Price's Law? You're making me Google shit now, man. Price's Law says 50% of the work of the company is done by a small number of people. I thought that was the Pareto principle. Yeah, the Pareto principle states, it was something along the lines of the square root of all the people that are involved in something produce half of the outcome. So if you have 9 employees, 3 of them are responsible for half of the work. If you have 10,000 employees, 100 of them are responsible for half of the work. And it's true. It really is. It's true. It's the same thing with art and music. You know, like a square, you know, a very small number of artists are responsible for most of the music people listen to. A very small amount of code is responsible for what most of the people are running in their computers. Like it's a very... Yeah, my workers don't share the work equally. Yeah, like, I mean, there are people that, like, there's a reason that people are constantly asking Steve for advice, that are constantly asking Steve for help, that every time there's something that's new that has to happen, people are going to Steve, because Steve is just, he operates at on a different level than everybody else. He sees things that other people don't see. He solves problems in a way that other people don't solve them. Like, there's a reason that Chris solves boards that everybody else fails at. There's a reason that people are always knocking on Chris's door saying, hey, how do I fix this? Hey, I'm stuck. Like, you know, everybody has different capabilities and skill sets. And like the dude that does this shit and gets data off of this, like, yeah, he's more capable than the other people that work with me. And everybody else here knows that. He's more capable than I am by a large margin, I'll admit it. I've been repairing and modifying my devices for years. Latest repair was replacing the cartridge reader on my Switch for $30. Keep up the good work. Thank you. You've convinced me that since I enjoy your content, I should donate. God bless you, XPYR. You know, you shouldn't donate to me. What you should do is you should buy SUSE Linux. You need that money to spend $80 on a Linux distribution. Do you have any recommendation for speakers wanting to get audio? Vandersteen Model 2. So I use these. I love these speakers. I use these. I got these for $1,100. You're probably never going to find them for $1,100 again. But yeah, I love these speakers. Let's see. So there's a couple of things that I love about them. So the first thing I love about them is, you see how there's no cabinet? See how there's literally no cabinet? Like when you take off the sheet, there's no box. The lack of box means no cabinet resonance. Once you hear what a speaker sounds like that doesn't have all that bullshit diffraction and noise from the cabinet and the baffle, you will never want to go back to a normal speaker. It's weird. It's like having a fucking nicotine addiction. Like you're never going to be able to, I don't know. Well, once you get used to it, you just can't go back. You can't go back to the way everything sounded before. Everything just sounds so muddied and in bullshit once you get used to that. The next is the phase response. Oh, look at that step response. Look at that. That is gorgeous. Oh, that is beautiful step response, baby. That is a beautiful step response in that speaker. You have speakers that cost 10 times what these speakers do that have a shittier step response. Fairly neutral frequency response. But the step response, oh, that is to die for. Off-axis frequency response, not bad for a first-order crossover. No, and above all, you usually find a set of Vandersteen Model 2s for like $400. So I got my set of Vandersteen Model 2s on Craigslist, and it's not that much different from the 3A signature. Like it's different, but it's a lot of it is the same general design. Like they don't really nerf the design that much for the lower models. So you could usually find a set of Vandersteen Model 2s that have a lot of the same principles for $400. Yeah, like this. See this over here? Buy this. $400 right here. Get this shit. It sounds 99% the same as the 3A signature. It's just a lot less money. Or this. You want this. Vandersteen Model 2. If you could find a 2C or a 2CI, much better. But this right here, get this, some acoustic panels. Get these speakers with some acoustic panels, and you got some of the best sounding speakers in the world. They're again, very linear. Perfect step response, perfect phase response. Most speakers don't have that. You're not going to get a bunch of cabinet resonances and shit from the baffle because it doesn't have a fucking baffle. So once you get rid of the baffle, you don't have to worry about all the reflections. It's just a very natural sounding speaker. And you're not going to, even speakers that are 100K don't sound as natural as these. And you can get it very cheaply. Recently, Dell made it harder to source resistors and caps for text that make rev from repairing their pro support claims. I still believe in them, but goddamn, sometimes I think someone in the C-suite is ready to dump us. Also buy more CentOS. Holy shit, that is way too much money. Dude, you've given me like $300 tonight. What the Okay, I'm assuming you're a Bitcoin millionaire or something. But okay, so caps. Did they ever was Dell ever okay with people actually replacing capacitors and stuff like that before? Am I reading this? Like when you say caps, you mean capacitors, right? Or am I missing something? If they thought, and please don't give me money to answer that again. I'm going to read it in the normal chat when I scroll down. Are there any graphene-like alternatives for an Android tablet? You could try Lineage, but it's not. It's very, very far. Lineage is very far from graphene. It doesn't have a lot of the security enhancing and hardening that they do. But if you're looking to get away from having Google shit on your phone, Lineage is the way to go. Blarg, that's not. I can't answer that. A book I would recommend is The Art of Looking Sideways. KD works fine for me. What hardware are you using it on? I've used it on many different forms of hardware. ThinkPad P50, this machine over here, which is a Core i9 7980XE with an RTX 2080. There's a lot of hardware I've used it on. XFCE just works so much better. And so much. Plasma has been amazing since V5 came out years ago. Oh, God. Here come the plasma shills. The paid plasma shills. I am an XFCE shill. XFCE for the win. Which Hacko soldering station do you use? FM203 or 951? My favorite tips are is it BCM2 or BCM? Yeah, I think it's like the BCM2. Let me see. Do I have this right? Yeah, so my favorite tips are the Hacko, is this, shit, I forget the fucking name of the tip. I think it's the BCM2, here we go. My favorite tips are the BCM2, and then the Hacko T30-KN. These are my two tips that I do 99% of my work with. Well, who am I kidding? That I used to do that work with. And I think my days of being a repair tech are behind me. Will Futo or other projects you work with support open source medical technology or software in the future? Medical technology is a bit outside of our purview. We've had internal discussions about that, and I have, given my input, and it's at the end of the day not my company, not my say. But that's not our focus. Are you going to do a home gym setup in Texas? No. Have a great rest of the night. Thank you, Omnitech. Have you ever played Counter-Strike in a trackball? We have not. Rumble is big for political stuff. Okay. I'm sub to you on Rumble. I'm just here to drive people off YouTube. Well, that's okay. I'll support you doing that. Despite how bad Google is, trying alternatives, we resist change and are creatures of habit. Very true. I watched Linus, but will not purchase a screwdriver. I appreciate that Louis is consistent with egalitarian takes. Am I? I don't know if I am. I don't know what you mean. Do you think social media should be a public utility? Some cheer this to protest censorship. It's very interesting because with the Texas social media law, it's very interesting that, I don't know, I just find it very interesting that you have people that say that you need to regulate big tech companies, but it's like, no, not that regulation. Not regulation that would require that companies that have hundreds of millions of users to billions of users would actually have to be treated like a utility. Like the Texas social media law is interesting. It says if you have over 50 million users, that you, at that point, you can still ban porn, you could ban threats, but you can't ban somebody based on ideology. That's very interesting. What got you into this business? I already answered that question about 10 minutes ago. Please rewind the stream by 10 minutes because it's really hard to explain all that shit again. I can't explain that again. That's going to drive me crazy. If you want to see the video on the Texas social media bill, I'll post a discussion with an attorney that we had at work here. So this video is about an hour long. Yeah, this is about 51 minutes long at work. So if you want to watch it and hear a long discussion with a law, I forget if it was a lawyer or a law professor, you're welcome to watch it. Yeah, I'll link it again just in case it didn't go through. Are you going to do a home gym setup? Nope. Okay, I already read that. I'm actually behind by less now. Here we go. If cheap screwdrivers break after 1 hour of use and you have 15 employees using a screwdriver 24/7 5 years, how many screwdrivers would you need to roll out from Alibaba? I don't know. I'm not doing that much math right now. Are you crazy? You couldn't pay me to do that much math. What did you do at the studio? I would record music. I would set up rehearsal rooms for rehearsals for groups and try to set them up so that they sounded their best. And since I sucked at that stuff, because I wasn't a musician, I started working in the tech room, fixing tape machines, equalizers, compressors, and doing maintenance on the consoles, such as the Neve 8088, which is a good console, the Neve VRP, which is a piece of shit console made by a refrigerator manufacturer that decided to buy an audio console maker. Why they Siemens did that is beyond me. You could fry an egg on the Neve VRP, and that piece of shit didn't even sound good. And don't even get me started on replacing the switches. Oh my God, what a fucking mess. Stuff like the SSL J9000, which is a very popular $500,000 console that sounds like a piece of shit because it's made by SSL. And what else? Neve 8088 though, very nice console. 31102 modules, oh, sound amazing. Neve 8088, very good. SSL, piece of shit. If you put a bell tree through an SSL, it barely even comes out the other end. Oh my God, SSL sucks. I don't know. I'm going to get a lot of hate for that. Fuck SSL. They're overrated. They're so overrated. They've always been overrated. And the funny thing now is when I see them selling digital plugins saying, get the sound of an SSL console out in the box. And it's like, dude, I would pay to not get the sound of an SSL console. Jim Williams had a really good talk on this. Like all the shit that you need to do to an SSL to make it not sound like shit. All the mods you need to do just to be able to get a fucking bell tree through to the other side of it. Props to Jim Williams at Audio Upgrades. Shout out to Jim Williams at Audio Upgrades. Hope he's still alive. Jim Williams at Audio Upgrades is a cool dude. I hope he's still alive. Do you use room correction? I do not. I use acoustic panels. I thought each speaker has to be matched to a certain airspace. That sounds like marketing wankery. If you never hear expensive speakers, you never buy expensive speakers. You don't have to buy expensive speakers. You can buy these for $349. Listen, being an audiophile or liking high-end music or liking hi-fi audio does not require that you buy expensive shit. It just requires that you know what to buy, you're willing to buy used, and you understand that shit like cables and $10,000 DACs are not what matters. Good set of speakers, acoustic panels. Like you want acoustic panels, you can build them yourself. Owens Corning 703. Yeah, like I'm sure there's millions of guides out there. Like, bam, here you go. Bam, this right here. Do-it-yourself acoustic absorption panels using Corning 703 fiberglass. Boom. Right here. Boom. Perfect. Corning 703 is amazing. Or if you don't want to pay, you got stuff like ATS Acoustics, panel. You can pay for them. You're just going to pay out the ass to have them build them for you. Let's see, here you go. Original acoustic panels. Yeah, some shit like this. You can buy these for like $70. These used to cost $40 when I was younger, but inflation sucks balls. You could buy a bunch of these for your room, and I'm telling you, like you could spend like $200 on an amp, like $100 on an amp, and just use the interface. Like $100 interface that comes with your computer is totally fine. Like you could spend less than $200 or $300 in the source. Just good speakers, acoustic panels. Like the acoustic panels will make 10 times more difference than any of this bullshit on the wiring and the DAC and everything else. As long as the DAC and the amp are competent, you're good. You don't got to get super expensive shit. You really don't. You just have to know what to buy. And you have to know what to not waste money on. Don't waste money on audio foolery, as Dave Jones and EV blog would call it. Louis is way back in chat. Yes, that's because I'm trying to thoughtfully read all my comments. I do not play Fortnite. To the Bitcoin millionaire who was talking about your resistors caps from Dell, Dell sells PCs and not components. Buy resistors and caps from DigiKey or Mouse or not Dell. I was a little confused by that comment. I don't know. You can spend $0 on acoustic panels, just check the loading dock at work for open cell foam and take it all. Yeah, but you're still going to have to buy the wood. You're going to have to buy the wood. You're going to have to buy everything, like the mounting hardware, and you're going to have to put it together and all that. My first acoustic panels, we built ourselves. But I don't do that anymore. It's just not worth it to me. Someday I'd like to have a set of someday, just for the fuck of it, someday, just for the fuck of it, I am going to want to have this. I am going to want one of these. I hate Stereophile. They buy into the bullshit that you can hear the difference in different amplifiers and DACs and CD players and cables and all that horseshit. But they have a good measurement. The measurement section isn't bad. The measurement section could be worse. Would it be possible for someone to buy up mining farm GPUs, pull the actual ICs off the boards, and build custom boards for resale? I don't know. That requires an engineer, and I'm far from an engineer. The only thing I don't like about these speakers, again, this could be room resonances. Like you see this little hump. I hate speakers that have the hump in the bass to trick you into thinking they have more bass than they do. But that could very well just be the guy's room. But like, not only does it have really, I melt. Oh man, look at that. Look at that frequency. Look at that impulse response. Look at that phase coherent beauty right there. And look at that the decay plot. It's gorgeous. That spectral decay plot is gorgeous. They're nice. I want to get one of these someday. But again, like I don't need them. My Vandersteen 3As are more than enough for me. These are cool though. The guy who made them has been dead for a really long time. Look at this picture. Look at this. Also, the room that these are in is going to sound like shit, by the way. Like this guy has $20,000 speakers in a room that's going to make them sound horrible. There's no acoustic treatment in this room that I can see whatsoever. And they're way too close together. So like he's not getting the benefit of these speakers. It's a nice looking room, but he's not getting the benefit of these speakers at all. You're missing out on a lot of it. I'd rather have Vandersteen Model 2s that cost $400 in an acoustically treated room than have these speakers be 3 feet apart from each other in this tiny room. However, I want to try them so bad. I just don't want to pay $16,000. But I want them. But I don't need them. But I want them. But I don't need them. Paul and I at the store used to have this argument all the time where I'd say, I don't need them, I just want them. And he'd go, nope, you need it. Because he would look to the B&H catalog. Paul would look to the B&H catalog and he would say, no, I need that. And I go, Paul, you don't need a $15,000 camera. And he's like, no, I need it. I need it. I cannot take this picture without that camera. Like, no, you don't. It's like, I don't need a set of TLCS 3.7. It's like, yes, you do. Yes, you do. The 3.6 is not enough. You need it. He would encourage me to still.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Joe Biden has done wonders for New York, and I'm glad after moving here he's like, dude, the president doesn't affect local placers. Not a millionaire, and Dell does pay people to fix things. Check out Focal Speakers. Again, not a millionaire, best frequency response ever witnessed. Okay, thank you for lowering the donation to something more reasonable. Focal. Let's see. I will check out Focal. Let's see. Focal Speakers. High fidelity speakers. Well, this looks sexy. What is this? Grande Utopia M Evo. Has to be good if it has a name like that. That's some high-class name right there.
Oh, sweet mercy.
Watch Breaking Bad. I watched Breaking Bad when I was a teenager, I think. Or I was in my early 20s. This is... Oh, no, it doesn't have a price on the website. Yeah, I can't afford that. Okay, here's the thing. Anytime the price is not on the website and it tells you to find a dealer, it means you can't afford it. Okay, let's see how much does this thing cost. Okay, here we go, bro. See? Bro. That's a bit out of my... Yeah. Maybe when I have a PewDiePie number of subscribers. Oh, someday. I'll check out the more cheaper ones. Paul's a quality photographer, Cameron. Even with cheap shit, he can make any picture look good. Do you think anything will come from the Supreme Court ruling regarding pistol braces and the NFA? I don't respond to... that's an acronym. Sorry. I'm just going to... Nope. We're going to have a zero tolerance on the acronym rule. Zero tolerance on the acronym rule. You don't need mounting hardware. Just stack the foam blocks on top of each other from the floor to the ceiling. What? That's not going to work. If a DAC is bad enough, you can tell the difference. Yeah, again, it needs to be competently designed. But my argument, Kate, is that if you have a digital to analog converter and an amplifier that are competently designed, that's fine. Speakers, you're going to tell a very large difference in really small changes in design. I don't have a network dude. I don't know what you mean. Do I have a network dude? What is a network dude? Is a network dude somebody who's on a network? Would that mean that anybody who's joined is on the network? Do you mean like a networking professional? Is it an IT professional? I don't know if anybody in my Discord is an IT professional. I imagine it's about 15,000 members. One of them has to be somebody who's a network professional, but I don't know if that's what you mean by network dude. I'm sorry. I don't understand your question. I apologize. I don't understand. Louis, where's a good place to learn about acoustics? I don't know. I liked hydrogenaudio.org, but Hydrogen Audio is really focused on codecs. It's not really focused on that stuff. Axiom Audio forums is actually good. Alan Loft was really good. A lot of it is fact-based. They try to avoid bullshit. But is there a soldering station or kit you recommend for beginners? I think it's linked in the video description. If not linked in this description, it's usually linked in all the board repair videos. I'll have a link to different soldering irons that I think are decent, and also hot air stations. So check out one of the board repair videos and look in the video description. Hey, YouTube, Louis, YouTube has been serving me your 4 to 6 year old content for the last week. It's been very interesting listening. Keep up the great work on Right to Repair. Thank you, YouTube. Thank you. Louis, moving to Texas, how do you plan to attract new business and create awareness? I imagine having the best rated business on Google Places would be a good start. So what I do is I take my Google Maps location here, and what I do is I change the address on it to my Texas address. I don't think it gets better than this. I really don't. Like we worked our ass off for this, and this was hard earned over lots of time. There was one person that posted some cope earlier today that said this is all just people simping for their favorite YouTuber. If you use archive.org, you'll see that our rating was this high before I had a YouTube channel. So if you use archive.org, you could look back to 2011, like our rating was still here. Yeah, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this listing, and I am going to take that listing, and I am going to change it over to Texas. 1 second, let me just change my transform over here. Yeah, so 4.5 stars, 1,400 plus reviews, and like, listen, we work our balls off for that. So I'm not really going to do much. I'm just going to change the address over so that when you search for a MacBook repair or data recovery or anything, we show up here. And that's that. Maybe like redo the website a little bit. I actually got to hire somebody to redo the website. Like I have to replace every time the word New York shows up with the word Austin, Texas. I should probably hire somebody to redo some sections of the website. It's old and kind of shitty. I'm not really happy with my site as it is, but every time I say I'm not happy with my site as it is, I wind up paying somebody to redo it, and they make it worse than it was before. To the point where like I'm happier with the site I had in 2013 than the site I have now. I'm legitimately happier with the site I had in 2013 than the one I have now. And I think I was happier with the site I had in 2010 than the one I had in 2013. So it's like, it's one of those things where if you're a recording engineer and you're working on an album and you keep working on mixing a song, sometimes the good thing to do is save it with different revisions, because at some point in the day, you're going to realize like the mix was getting better and better and better, and then it starts to get worse and worse and worse and worse as you continue, because you don't really notice that you're actually making it's very difficult to tell with creative routines when you're making shit worse, or creative endeavors that you're making stuff worse. Open baffle speakers may be more reasonable than this guy used to be with Norman Laboratories. Huh. What city is your shop in Texas? Austin, the New York City of Texas. I don't live there, though. Maybe I'm a millionaire. Focal car speakers, not home audio. Let me email you the data sheets. Sure. Thank you, John. That is too kind. Have you tried Magnapan? I haven't, but I'd like to someday. The speakers on my list that I want to own, I have the Vandersteen 3A signatures. I'd like to have a set of Teal CS 3.7s. They do this absolutely beautiful, sexy thing where they have a dual concentric mid-range and tweeter, but the mid-range and tweeter share a voice coil. Can you believe that? The mid-range and the tweeter share a fucking voice coil. This little whatever the hell you call it right here. This shit is insane. So this is the mid-range. That mid-range, look at that. They shaped it weird with the whole idea that to shaping it weird would be less breakup modes. And there's a tweeter inside of it. And supposedly, I could be wrong here. It's been a long time since I read this. Supposedly, The mid-range and the tweeters share a voice coil, and there's no crossover. It's just the natural impedance curve, or the natural resistance of it, the natural inductance to capacitance, whatever the fuck it is. I'm not an engineer. The natural curve of it causes it to roll off perfectly as it enters the tweeter. Like, that is fucking sexy. That is a sexy ass piece of engineering right there. And so TLCS 3.7, Magnapan, Dunleavy, Model 6, and Vandersteen 3A signature. When I'm rich, I'm going to buy all those speakers. And I'll have a little setup where I just press a button, and the speakers wind up like getting put into the wall, into some magic thing inside the wall, and then every time you hit it, it just gets turned over, and then the new speaker shows up. So here, Magnapan, Vandersteen, Dunleavy, Teal. Yeah. You get an idea of what I would do if I was a billionaire. I'd have a lot of stupid shit I'd do if I was a billionaire. Why is Austin the New York City of Texas? Oh, you should visit. What do you regret most in life that you can share with us? I'm not sharing stuff that I regret the most in life. That is personal and private, not your business. It feels like Bluetooth consumer speakers are made to be disposable. Most of them suck. If I was in Texas, it'd be super cool to bring the finalist speakers over and A/B them with Vandersteen. Someone say repeal the what? Thank you, Louis, for responding to my comments. Thank you for posting them. Why did it take so long to move to New York City? I have a business here. I have employees here. I have a life here. I don't know. That's a silly question. Leaving means a bunch of people are not going to be able to come with. And some of those people that are not able to come with are people that really help my business. Once New York got to the point where just existing here was an existential threat to me being in business, that was when it stopped mattering. If you don't buy Focal with the money from tonight, I'm suing. Teal, Vandersteen, and then just out of curiosity, Dunleavy and Magnapan. Maybe I'll try Focal at some point. I'm not a big fan of Polk. I A/B'd them with a set of Infinity Alpha 50s back in the day, and it just did not impress me. I like Bill Burr, HK, and not much else. What changed about not being able to have people come with you to Texas? Nothing changed. A bunch of them are not coming with. It's just I realized that New York, having a business in New York City means there's a very high chance of me getting wiped out entirely. And that it's not, New York City is not just at the point where it's like, oh, a stupid $1,000 fine there, $5,000 thing there, $100 fine here, this there. It's getting to the point where, like, I got a letter in the mail, something was asked for that made me realize, holy crap, you incompetent morons are actually going to bankrupt me. So nothing's changed. Like I still am where I am before, which is that a bunch of people are not going to be able to go with. It's just I can't run a business in that state anymore. Let's see. Best alternative website to FB to sell used speakers. No acronyms. Audiogun. What was your first speaker? Axiom M22 with a SU STF2 subwoofer. What is the most reliable brand that you recommend when it comes to smartphone and laptop? Smartphone for reliable? I tend to like Motorola for reliable. Laptop brand, I've only had a framework for a year. So while I like them, I've only had it for a year. So I can't really say because I can only say it's lasted for a year. The ThinkPad business machines, like ThinkPad T-Series, P-Series have always done me good. Have you heard back anything from Margaret Vestager, or are you even in talks with her staff? Oh, that's adorable. You think that I hear back from members of fucking EU? Yeah, no. I got a tweet. You know what I got? I got a tweet. I got a tweet. I had my attorney that wrote that 60-plus page paper for the FTC reach out, and bupkis. I got a tweet. So I heard that the EU competition chief was going to be in New York City. Well, I was in New York City to meet with Tim Cook, and I'm like, there's no way in fuck this is happening without me meeting this person. I've been working on Right to Repair for like 10 years. I started a nonprofit. I had somebody write up this whole thing for the FTC on everything that's wrong and everything that could be done and what the precedent was and what they should or shouldn't be allowed to do based on prior precedent from an antitrust professional's point of view, based on their 40 years of experience. If you're having dinner with Tim Cook, I gotta meet you. You're literally in my home city. So I did a video on it. I got a tweet. It was a tweet with like a 30-second video mention, and I never heard back, which it is what it is. Listen, like I'm not a European. I'm not a European. Then again, neither is Tim Cook, but whatever. I don't know. Tim Cook runs a $1 trillion company. I run a failing repair shop. So it is what it is. I'm not that important. But yeah, it was a tweet. I got a tweet. I guess I should be happy I got a tweet. Nothing ever came of it from there. Nothing ever came of it from there. I do know that, she knows I exist. I know she knows I exist, and hopefully cool things will come of it. Maybe I'm being too black-pilled. Maybe I'm being too cynical. It's very possible I'm being too cynical, but you can't blame me for being cynical at this point when it comes to politicians and anything that has to do with Right to Repair. I want to start a nonprofit. Do I need a lawyer? Probably don't need one, but it's probably a good idea to have one. The likelihood of you doing something wrong when starting one off for yourself is very high if you don't have experience. Are there audiophile headphones you like? I prefer speakers. For headphones, I'm a piece of shit. I use Shure IEMs. I know you're not supposed to. You're supposed to use these Moon IEMs or any one of the other IEMs out there. I haven't tried them all. I use Shores. I shouldn't. I know there's better out there. I just haven't researched it. They fit in my ear really well, and they're MMCX, and they're easy to get. But I know I'm not supposed to use Shure IEMs. I know that's a dirty thing. That's a dirty thing. I have, I think, Shure Ionic 4 and a spare set of SE225. But don't buy those. I like them because they're very durable. You cynical? Very, John. Very. But you're not supposed to. You're not supposed to use Shure IEMs. They kind of suck. But like they're very durable. They're MCX, so they detach easily. They fit in my ear really well. The earpieces they come with are really good. So they have me for life. I started using Shure E3Cs. Oh, these are old. Remember the Shure E3C? E3C. Back in the day. Back in like 2004, I used these. Remember this? Holy shit, somebody's reviewing them in 2021.
Sweet mercy.
Remember this right here? Very cynical. See this? I had these in high school. The thing that I liked about them is that so these fit in your ear with these little earpieces, and it blocked out all the outside noise. So a lot of headphones now don't do that. So for instance, if you buy, let's say, a Jabra Elite 65E, if you buy these, this looks like it goes in your ear and expands, but it actually doesn't, regardless of the ones you get. This does not go deep enough in your ear, and it doesn't create the type of seal necessary to block out outside noise. A lot of them don't. These do. So I liked that because you got like 25 or 30 decibels of reduction of outside noise from it, and which is necessary to be able to listen to music portably. Now you can buy those tips and you could put them in almost any IEM. But I've just been hooked. Still been using Shure because I used to use Shure, and they were durable. And now they use MMCX connectors, so I can just disconnect really easily. But yeah, I'm fully aware that that's not. I'm fully aware that is not they're not exactly the greatest company for them, and that you're missing out on a lot of high end by using a Shure, and that I'm just being lazy with my lack of research, which is why I'm using them. Louis, what is your max military press? I think it's 165. I believe I posted it to my live channel. Let me see if I could find it. I believe I posted it a while ago. I think my max is 165. Let's see. One moment. Give me 1 moment. 1 second. Don't leave a super chat. I will not read it. I'm looking for something right now. Don't you super chat anything. I'm looking for something. Don't you say a word. Oh, come on. Almost there, almost there, almost there. Yeah, fuck. I can't find it. Damn it. Maybe? This? No. This? No. Let's see. 1 minute. Why do I suck at labeling my videos? This should not be this hard to find. Huh.
Thou sweet mercy.
Damn it! Ah, thank you, John. And I agree. Fuck Google. Google can gargle. This shouldn't be this hard. Yo, you're a shit YouTuber, man. Why don't you title your videos something that makes sense? Almost there. Here we go, finally. Okay. So this is from my live channel. It's Oreo the cat.
God. Huh? Look. Oh, okay. He wants you to drop it on him.
Okay, this is 165, I believe. It's a 35 and a 25 pound plate, and it's a 45 pound bar. Let's see, do I get it? 165. No leg drive, no cheating, no cheating, no cheating, no cheating. Yes. Okay, that's one. This is 135 times 8. Overhead press. Let's see, do I get it? Wait, where is it? Oh, this is an 8-minute video? What the fuck? What is this? Schizo streaming. Here we go. Okay, 135. Do I get it times 8? 1, 2, 3, 4. You better get 8, you fuck. I was only able to get 6 the other day. 5, 6, 7. Oh, look at that stomach, you fat fuck. 7. You fat bastard. Getting not bad, 8. Okay, here's a better angle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 2 more, you fat fuck. Come on, you piece of... Oh, look at that horrible form. Look at the wrist. Oh, it's killing me. Oh, it's only 7 too. Gruh. Yeah, my wrist did this. That's so bad. You can't do this. You have to do this. This, good. This, This, very bad. Very bad. Oh, well. I lost 30 pounds. I lost 30 pounds and I was able to do the same thing. I'll let it slide. I don't use tape, though. No tape, no belts, none of that. I should be able to do this. I should be able to do this without any sort of extra excess crap. Like no belt, no tape, no wraps, all bullshit. You need to be able, you need to strengthen your wrist, you need to strengthen your grip, you need to strengthen your core, all that shit, you should be strengthening all that with your exercise without any sort of extra help. Recently you made about GrapheneOS. Have you tried other similar OSs? Yes, I have. What's your opinion on console wars? Don't care. Did a smart thing by leaving New York City. I think I did. Please continue to go after Future Motion. Oh, I have a lot more to do on Future Motion. Do speakers alone really make that crazy of a difference? 100%. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Amps, DACs, cables, definitely, but speakers, yes. Speakers and room treatment. That's what makes a giant difference. Will Paul be making the move with you? No. Where's your learning center located? I don't have a learning center. I think it's in between my ears. It's in my brain. Got my learning center. Recently, you've mentioned doing more Futo stuff around teaching people repair. If I visit Texas again with a set of 2 DSIs with... I'm just scrolling past acronyms at this point. I had a very basic rule. No acronyms. I'm just not doing it. Not doing it. I assume you convey yourself using automobiles. By convey... Convey. The meaning of convey. Transport or carry to a place. I think most automobiles suck. I'm a cheap bastard. My first speakers were Altec Lansing ACS 40s. If I was going to get a Lansing, you know what I want? Lansing 604E. This is what I want. Ah, whoops. This is not the screen I want to show. I want this. But remember these? See that? That's phase coherent. The problem that I have with these speakers though is the box is trash. Like this box is trash. So first, like look at the size of the fucking baffle on this. Like you have all of this for there to be early reflections. All of this on the side and this over here and this over there. Like this is so bad. And also the cabinet is parallel.
Mercy.
Like there's no reason for the cabinet to be parallel. Check out Wear It, Chisel, Screwdriver, and Ratchet Hammer Extension Spike. Good night. Good night, Kate. Thank you very much. I have pleasure speaking to you, and I'll speak to you in a few days. Yeah, like, look at Axiom speakers, for instance. A lot of companies do this, for instance, but, like, look at the shape. Let's see, Axiom Audio. Let's see if I can get a picture of it. Now, a standing wave is what happens when a wave bounces off there, then hits there, but then bounces and also goes back here, and then you wind up with these areas in the room where a particular frequency is going to be amplified in a way that it isn't if you have a non-parallel surface. So if you take a look at, let's see if I can get a picture of these from the side. I don't know if you can really see here. Yeah, they don't have a good picture from the side. So these are not parallel. They're actually not, the walls in this speaker are not parallel, which is really cool. The side walls are not parallel. The pictures of it suck, so you can't see that. But like that's a really nice way to avoid standing waves in the cabinet. Speakers alone won't really make a difference. That is not true. That is incorrect. Misinformation. Speakers will most certainly make a difference. Speakers and room treatment. Okay, time for me to get out of here. Google, oh, let's see. What am I? Okay, I'm out of here. You know what I really like though? This is a good way to piss off your neighbor. Listen, they're not the speakers that I want for my permanent listening. They're not what I want for permanent listening. I would just love to, I'd love to see in an HOA what people think when they see me wheeling this shit into my house. And mounting them in soffits in my wall. Yes, 813C, baby. The evolution. This is the evolution of the Lansing 604E as a studio monitor for people that wanted to go deaf in the 70s and 80s. Like for members of The Who and other groups that wanted to go deaf in the studio, you had these. The engineer would be using NS10s, but when he needed to impress some shitbag record label executive or producer, oh, that's it. You know what's interesting is they had surprisingly low bass For the amount of, for the cabinet size and for the woofer size, a surprisingly low amount of bass. Anyway, I got to get out of here. I'm leaving. I'll see you all later. Thank you very much for joining my live stream. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much to everybody who's watched this channel over the years. And yeah, just a couple of things before we go, just a few things to get everything into order. Again, as I said, on this channel, I've been working at an organization called Futo that gives grants to people that are creating software and hardware that restores freedom of the end user to their technology and takes a little bit back from Google, Facebook, Apple, Amazon, and so forth. Here's an interview with two of the people that we have given these grants to. And if you're interested in a grant, you email grants@futo.org. That is grants@futo.org. Grants@futo.org. Ideally, you answer these questions over here that you can find on futo.org/grants. That's futo.org/grants. What is your project? Provide a link to more detailed information if it exists. How will your project reduce the harm that the tech oligopoly inflicts upon the people? How and when do you expect to publish the work resulting from your project? What have you finished or accomplished so far? Who is the target user of your work? What do you plan to do with copyrights and patents resulting from your project? How will you measure the success of your project? How would you rate your chances of success? What resources can Futo provide to assist, and what resources have you been provided before, if any, and from what donors? We have 2 new grant recipients that we're going to be announcing over the next several weeks, and I'm very excited to go over their projects, and we are also going to be doing interviews with them here on this channel so that you can learn about their projects and what it is that they are doing. Again, what's the worst thing that happens? What, you get a no? What? It's like being on a dating app. It's like, what's the worst thing that could happen? You get a left swipe. No big deal. You know, you don't get anything if you don't try. So just something to know about. Grants@futo.org. And the rest of it. Oh, we got to show the rest of it. Repair.wiki as well, which is down for maintenance. What? Yo, man. Okay, one moment. I got to yell at some people in Discord. Where's my wiki, man? One more. I was going to show my wiki for people that wanted to post repair guides to it, but hello. Where'd my wiki go? Oh, well. I'll ask him when it'll be back up. I'll see you all later. Bye now.